Okay. Before anything, let's actually finish then.
Yes.
Ending entry has been added to the event archives. Additional characters can now be viewed in the event archives. You can now restart each protagonist's story from the beginning. The selection screen and the fourth area of destruction has been unlocked. Yeah, so if you were streaming this, that would have stopped it.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, we still have a bit of analysis.
2%.
Yeah.
So the thing is this.
The truth.
The truth. The place they reside is now planet RS-13 Alpha, 1,200 light years from Earth following the Virgo constellation. It has been 20 million years since the probes departed Earth.
Oh my god.
When the terraforming of the new planet was finished, the cloning process from the DNA of the 15 began in the facility area. The city that the 15 believed to be reality was a simulated environment in digital space, while in reality their true bodies were gestating in the growth pods. The nanomachines in their brains made their experiences feel real. These are the experiences of 15 children who ventured forth into an undiscovered land 20 million years after humanity initiated Project Ark on the brink of extinction. After millennia of wandering through space, they finally find a new home. Okay. Yeah. That's it. But wait, also, the rental agreement was prepared by Tamao Android, which contained the simulated personality of Tamao Karabe.
Well, thank God we figured that out.
Thank God.
Jeez. The main reason why I wanted to come on. Need to get to the bottom of that.
Okay.
Information here.
We've got some info on some updated notes here, exactly. So let's start with this one.
The first phase of this space initiative ends with a dispersal of countless probes carrying the DNA data of the 15 individuals. The second phase ends when the terraforming of the new planet is completed. The final phase refers to the creation of clones based off the DNA of the 15 individuals, dormant until they safely arrive at their new Earth when they reach 20 years of age. Furthermore, the 15 clones spend their 20 years in a virtual space while they undergo a special training program designed to provide vital knowledge for the final 2 years.
I repeat, we interrupt this program to bring you an important emergency broadcast. A large, unidentified object has crash-landed in the city. It is headed north toward Kasumijo, destroying everything in its path. A state of emergency has been declared in Ashitama City. The neighboring 3 wards are advised to evacuate immediately.
You gotta be kidding. A kaiju? Minami, we gotta run.
What's happening to this place?
Yeah, that's like a weird spot for... What's certainty?
The Juro and...
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this like happening in the virtual world?
Okay.
That
We should have probably had our discussion before playing that, because that's something else. But okay. Infinite possibilities.
Fueled by humanity's boundless drive for survival, the probes repeat the cycle of self-replication, creating infinite possibilities across the vast expanse of space.
What was the name of our planet? Was it RS-13?
But it didn't say Alpha.
RS-13
oh, yeah, it is
Alpha.
Okay.
And that's what that says.
Yeah.
There,
RS-13
yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So another probe is on its way because the system actually is designed to... Fuck this, though. Hold on. We can't talk about this part yet because there's all the shit
Sure.
prior to... You know what? Fine. I get... The system is designed to find all possible...
Yeah. They just sent a bunch of
places
shit out.
for humanity to recreate itself, and you know, but this is the fucking this is like no. Let's fucking handle what's
Okay.
in front
Yeah,
of us.
Go
let's
through
just
the
put it on the
mystery
stove
files,
to
yeah.
simmer.
Holy shit!
Because
That's fucking crazy. Oh, Jesus Christ!
thing at a
man.
time.
One thing at a time. Yeah, no, like, I don't need a final twist while I'm still piecing together the epilogue itself. Okay, so this paragraph is what, when we hit the credits, and I went, oh fuck, it makes sense. This is what I was gonna say, is that like, okay, the whole thing about their age comes together in a really like sensible way. So at first but the thing was that like I was like, were they virtually simulating that process on the way over? And then it's like, and then this just clarified, no, they landed.
Right.
It identified that this planet was sustainable, and then it was like, all right, well, we need to start humanity right. And in order to start humanity right, we have to start it with leaders of the right age that already understand
Right. Yeah.
the world and are capable of making the
You
population...
can't just unleash a bunch of babies or like kids out to like
Yeah.
fucking try to
You can't
recreate.
like the population of Earth, or rather saving humanity by spitting out a bunch of babies and giving them some books.
they're gonna die.
Is ridiculous, right? So it is 100% about like making sure that you develop to maturity and that you have contextual understanding of human civilization.
Yeah.
In other words, you get to be a human before you start creating the new humanity, so that there's an idea of how to structure things and pass it down in a way, and also keep the traditions and the memories and the spark
You have some sort of backbone
people
to like grow off of a
alive.
foundation.
Exactly. And it doesn't hurt that relationships can get established in that as well, and and so on. But like, yeah, okay, that to me is kind of like where the whole process of like getting to about 16, and then
Oh.
you get 4 years of actual training to become the specialist in whatever field is needed for these for the new humanity.
So it
you
was-
get a regular ass upbringing in high school, and then you get your fucking Sejep is what life preserving skill are you going to be able to learn about, and then you can all step out into the real world and actually be the leaders that humanity needs, interestingly in the same way that like Morimura was trying to Morio 88 at least was going to be quote unquote the leader of the of the gang there.
Right.
They're now all people that are they're equipped with the skills and understanding to educate and such. I guess the idea is that also, like, we don't know about how the creation of new humans is gonna go in terms of like, are they gonna spit out like Matrix babies in a way that are all just samples of tons of raw genetic data, Or is it going to be more of a like cloning process with crisp like variation? Like
You mean on the planet?
yeah, we don't. Yeah, we just know that there's the ship carried along the information of a lot of other humans. So like they're not running into the.
Well, they're AI humans, right? There's only the 15 genetic material.
But I think the implication was that besides the DNA of the original 15, the ship itself had lots of other genetic diversity, so that they're not running into a fucking incest problem immediately.
That's not what I understood. I understood it to be like during this flashback here,
Yeah.
when she was talking about bringing people from the world out. Is that what you're
Is it
referencing?
just the 15 then?
I understood it to be like when she went back to the world saying, hey, we figured out a way, thanks to what original Ryoko had worked on, a way to like take your memories and put them into clones that we can make. But I don't know if that was the original intent.
Okay. I thought there was a reference to them having a couple million different
I think they have
people.
DNA for species and everything else, but the people were simulated. And
Yeah, the 1.2 million.
Yeah, the 1.2 people were simulated. I don't think they had like a database. with DNA
Oh,
about
okay. So it was like fake people.
Yeah,
But they still created unique people.
yeah.
Okay. Well, because like they have the 15 originals, but I interpreted the line I saw as, but those are not the only examples of people we're gonna have. It's not just them and their offspring,
I
right?
think it is.
So if we look, because the credits are scenes here as
Right.
well. Hey, look, loop numbers are included.
Yeah, I know.
So the last piece of update is it includes the number of loops ago, aka the thing we were trying to ask about
Right.
a couple sessions back.
Clarification. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Right. So let's get that exact line again, because yes, I can see that clearly. There's 15. Yeah, there, and then 21. Oh wow.
Yeah.
They added.
Oh yes. Yeah.
We can do it.
Oh, this game rules! Oh, you fucking rule! Yes! Yes! Oh, that's so good! Oh, that's so good! Thank you! What a good wiki! Oh,
This is great.
Jesus,
Now
that's
you can follow
beautiful.
each character. At the end,
Yeah.
if you're not sure, you can follow the character, what
Yes.
happens, and be like,
Oh,
distinct
that's
person.
beautiful.
oh, let's have some fun with this. Okay.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. Well, fucking game of the year, but okay, so specific the scene in question we were talking about, they discuss it here?
Yes, because it's Ryoko that says it. Ryoko and I have a new project.
Using the pods to recreate the people.
Yes. So we now know enough to manipulate genetic information. Yes. Making AI into humans. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's not the AI into humans part. Oh shit. No. It's not the AI into humans part. It's the mention of the truth about the ship. It might have been the conversation in the over the credits. Let's see here. Yeah, it's Tamao. It's when Tamao is talking to everybody.
Okay.
Tamao 2188, which we could just fucking do right here. Oh man, that's great.
My special together, we cannot sit after all. These, you will be, we may not, but if it does, if you are up, please.
Okay.
Okay, probes were scattered into space in search of viable planet. Probes plural.
Yeah, of course.
And at that
was
moment,
that's the only way to ensure success.
yeah.
Is to
Or
create.
you can't shoot one shot.
Yeah, I know. No, like a web needs to fucking canvas, and find out, and then like allow the successful outcome to survive in a way,
The closest candidate planet was 12 light years.
I was gonna say, like,
away.
imagine the first fucking sea creature that crawled out onto land And it's just kind of like you have an array of like all different kinds and try different ways of making it out of the water. You jump, you shoot, you fucking float, you know, and you brute force it until one finds its way out, you know?
And this works.
It has to, right? Okay. So she breaks down the planet and the tragedy. And once you turn into an adult, you get some training, and then you become ready to lead humanity. Okay. Tamao talks about AI.
Yeah.
And we've been transported.
You're transporting a massive cache of genetic information
But
to
not-
the new world.
Flora and
Including
fauna,
humans.
including humans. This is where I'm like, they're talking about transporting. So I'm like, there's 15 that are direct descendants of the people that we met.
The survivors.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just stored
But
juice.
this is making reference to the fact that there are people that are data, the genetic data they kept besides those 50.
Okay.
This is the line I'm thinking about.
Together, you will rebuild the human race anew.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that based on this line, it's not just those 15. They're going to have genetic diversity. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Good. Thank you. I'm just like, yeah.
I'm still on the fence. I'm like, maybe they meant like wide variety with regards to the flora and fauna and the 15.
That's how I
of
took it
you.
at first,
Yeah.
but this is... It could be taken both ways, I guess.
I mean,
Including humans means I assume that they have various DNA. They said that they could alter the DNA, so maybe they have the 15
But,
sets
like-
of DNAs, and they're gonna work to change these sets of DNAs.
but also like this, yeah, it's the size of the bases they have that they're operating with are to incorporate way more than just their offspring slowly populating.
Yeah.
You know, and then the AI reincarnations, like they have the genetic data they mentioned in the next scene to like give those people bodies. But I think this sentence is meant to imply that they have other types and races and variations of humanity.
They got Tyson, they got Yao Ming, they got Elon Musk.
Well, and I mean, and like that would be like if the ship, like that would be crucial if anything to like genetic diversity is a huge
for sure.
important
Well, it
thing.
is, yeah.
So like that would be a crucial step in this project launching, you know, because if it really had to just be like biblical, like that would be a lot harder, you
Yeah,
know, to like
definitely.
rebuild everything. So, okay.
I just want Miura to build All-Star NBA with
15
LeBron DNA, Jordan DNA.
I mean, like, just can you confirm that?
Stockton.
Do black people still exist?
Like, we left that DNA box on the table before shipping out the probes, and it was too complicated.
Despite Punchmom's racist ass over here, hoping for a ethnic purity, hoping for a pure new world, I regret to inform you that Tamao has let us know that we still exist.
You seen right through me. Fuck. I'm sorry, dude.
God
Black
damn it.
people not uploaded. What is this? What is-
You should hear her calling me the N-word.
Oh my god, I believe it. I believe it. Just like really smooth. Like so casual that you don't even notice. You're like, huh?
No
what,
filter.
What you said? You know what I said.
With the chest.
Hard R.
Hard R.
Artist.
Double R.
All right.
With a YKK, you know? All right. So that makes sense. And that is what we're looking at as
If
far
somebody
as
sends this to your employer, just contact me. I'll vouch for you. I will save you. Don't worry about it.
yes. Okay, so that's what we have, right? Now, the thing, so the actual process of landing and going through everything here is almost like a series of fail safes to make sure, because you can only start humanity once, right? Or can you? Right? You, in theory, you want to do it. You want to give it the best possible shot. Now, before moving forward with that, what ends up being ridiculous now in hindsight is the levels of like obfuscation that the simulation goes through. Like it had like the multiple layers of truth,
So that you don't figure out.
so that you
what-
don't understand what's happening, are so nuts in the process, and that's like Ryoko fucking things up definitely had a lot
Yes.
to do with that.
That might answer it for me because it just feels like such a convoluted.
Why is it so hard to grasp reality, and why is the simulation
And why were you repeating
so
over and over?
fucking confusing? And Ryoko fucking it up is a good reason for that. The other thing, of course, is that the fact that there is a model of the 5 sectors, for example, does end up simulating what they're going to do in real life in a way. So that's not the worst kind of like reality training for the idea of multiple like if they're modeling that type of thing, if they're taking that sort of as a reference point for what they do later on, then that's somewhat helpful. But in the end, she creates this ridiculous issue that ends up resulting in a never-ending loop. So effectively, people never get ready, and the planet never gets populated, and instead we just stay in this virtual world of like fake suffering indefinitely over and over and over again in this way, you know? The thing, of course, is that like they had to grow those kids and then age them in the pods to the point where like they would be ready or whatever. But like if they failed and then died in the pod or whatever the case happened, like what would be next, right? That's kind of the question. So okay, we have more to read.
Okay.
But I'm
Yeah.
kind of just curious. I'm like, do they just die in the pod and then get flushed out and then they just grow a new one?
Right. There
You
has
know?
to be a fail safe.
Is that yeah? That's kind of the thing. So all right, let's keep
let's
keep
go.
reading. Let's keep reading.
Oh my god, yeah, there's what you just said, there's a lot to think about.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if they fail, pods are still there.
But time is time, right?
Yeah.
Fake time is not passing faster than real time. They're simulating their experiences as they are physically growing
Yeah.
into adults. So it's not like you're having the Matrix like moments of like inserting memories into your brain. It's like, no, they're actually growing, you know?
Tsukasa Okino 2 loops ago.
Yeah.
32 years ago, survives the war. Along with his friends Jiro Izumi and Morimura, he goes down the giant tunnel that the kaiju created and discovers UC, Universal Control, how to shift between different sectors, and the countdown to the destruction of their world. Although he was able to send Izumi and Morimura to the next loop by shifting them to Sector 0, he himself disappeared along with that world.
Right. Okay, and so the entire idea of the world being destroyed, even, it's like when you zoom out and the goal is to get people to, the goal is to raise the kids to be like, you know, good to go, then it's like, yeah, I guess you can just use some video game code as long as it's advanced enough and sophisticated enough.
Right.
It'll be fine. It's not that important, you know, in the grand scheme. Oh boy, it's only the most important shit ever. Okay, Tamao 88. Since humanity lacked the technology to sustain life across multiple light years travel at a time, Tamao Kurabe's plan for Project Ark was to transport only the genetic information over to the New World, where the cloning of species restoration efforts would occur. However, since she believed humanity is defined by the inheritance and evolution of culture and knowledge, she also came up with growth pods to teach necessary information in a virtual world over the course of 20 years. Yeah, okay.
So 18 years of simulation, and then 2 years of proper formation at the end,
Hands-on training.
and then pop out.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah, you need people, right? You do need people. The
Normal people.
The curriculum, however, is probably the most debatable shit in the world, and you could spend your last days of humanity arguing for what how the people should be raised in those pods and what kind of people should come out of those pods.
Well, especially if you're starting with just 15, like that's gonna fucking shape. Like each person's gonna have a huge impact on the rest of humanity. So that's why it makes sense the different sectors. You know, like they couldn't. Yeah, how do you figure that out?
And feelings.
Couple people on Shikishima were like, we need to teach them about the 2188 project. The truth about the way this world was fucking ended. And then there's people who are like, no, it's about the 1985 project. Never mind that. Oh boy. Miwako is an AI managed by... Yeah, fuck that. Anyway, moving on. Miwako lived happily ever after. The end. Yay! Yay, Miwako's happy. She's great. Yep. During the Kaiju invasion... Jiro Izumi 2 loops ago, 32 years ago, Jiro arrived at a mysterious underground facility along with his friends, Okino and Morimura. With Okino's help, Izumi and Morimura managed to escape the end of that world, but due to their radical actions in an attempt to change the future, Izumi gets captured by the government and becomes the prisoner known as 426.
Man who looks like Jiro Kurabe.
Yep.
What Jiro Izumi from 2 loops ago looks like after 16 years.
Yeah. The back. He tried to kill all the candidates 1 loop ago because he theorized that the Kaiju invasions would stop if all candidates for the decode control key were gone.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I mean... so the thing there is, like, yeah, like, what... You're looking at it as, like, let's save the world by, like, killing them all. And that's the limit of his understanding of this entire process.
Gotta save all the fake people in the city.
Exactly.
By killing the only real people left.
Exactly.
Did we skip some entries?
All right, let's just go down one by one. Tetsuya Ida.
Ho ho. During a bug regression test, the 2188 Tetsuya Ida noticed that a part of the final phase had been altered, so he reported this discovery to Renya Goto. The change was made in Chihiro Morimura's host to trigger a memory overwrite. Though the memory's contents remain unknown, it's clear that Jiro Izumi was the one who made the change.
So when Chihiro turned 18 and got out of the pod, she would just be like, thanks for the body.
Yeah.
Swipe.
Exactly.
And now she's back in as an adult.
And she gets to be that leader for everyone.
And 18 being the important age because that's when they're not in the simulation anymore.
Yeah.
So her waking up in the simulation
as a fucking kid
sucks because that's not supposed to be what happens. She woke up way too early and was stuck in the fucking pod, you know? Well, not stuck in the pod, but she woke up as Data as opposed to, you know, overriding the thing because of the Morimura download process there. That's interesting. Yeah, a little too early and you don't get to fucking walk around the real world and quote-unquote be a leader.
Yeah, to be a foundational person.
Because that's what she was looking to do, right? Again, no mention of Kengo.
I know.
Right? Weirdly understated last-minute evil person to drop into the situation, to blame a bunch of shit on and not develop. But anyway, we'll get to his entry. Hopefully there is one.
Skelly V pointed out that Kengo had the similar plan going.
I was gonna say,
but Kengo's plan was just, I want to live. Kengo's plan was just based on, fuck it, I'm not dying. Morimura, a Mori 88, wanted to come back to lead humanity, right?
But didn't he also want to live after this? He wanted to be repopulated later? I'm surprised not to
Kengo?
see him, yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to take a...
Yeah, but he just wanted...
body, no?
Kengo just wanted...
Nenji's spot, that's right.
He wanted to take Nenji's body, no?
That would make sense.
Yeah.
He would take his son's body over. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Prep his kid. But it's not his kid. It's a fucking clone of his kid. So who cares? Is according to a fucking sociopathic asshole. Okay, so blah. You asked something right before that. I was about to answer though. No, anyway, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, Mori 88. Oh yeah, no, it was I was trying to think of and then the fact that like that Mori 88 is walking around like fucking shooting herself and shit is because it's like, yeah, fuck you, you're not real.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I need that body. Shut up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so much rights on that.
That's the way she's treating it. It's just you're whatever, fuck a clone, you know, almost. Which, you know, if the fiction that we watch and read and enjoy have taught us anything, it's that fake people are real people too. AI that's sophisticated enough to have like empathy, feelings, and understand things, and clones of people are still people. And
Are they though?
no,
Are you
but
sure?
it is. That's the question is, is it ethical or moral to then not treat them the same as you would others? And the answer is no. Yes, it would be unethical to treat them differently, you know?
Or you could just shoot him, and then it's done.
Like I said, hard R's, guys. Hard R's.
Yeah. There.
Okay, no, 2 loops ago. All right.
Yeah, this one.
We read that. We read this. 1 loop ago.
Damn. The AI of Tamao Kurabe that was born 1 loop ago. The body is the Tamao android prior to 426 taking control of it. When the Tomi Kisaragi android 426 chased Natsuno Minami into the girl's bathroom, Tamao fought and destroyed the Kisaragi android. However, 426 seized the opportunity to take over Tamao Kurabe's body, which erased her AI. As Jiro Izumi would have become a husk due to the battle in 2025, she changed his personality into the calm and obedient Jiro Kurabe. She took pity on Megumi Yakushiji, who loved the prior Izumi, so she allowed Yakushiji to live with Kurabe and look after him.
Yeah, okay.
She enabled all of that.
She had to find someone good who could take care of him. So, Megumi was the one.
Yeah.
Welcome to
No,
the
I'm
cookout.
just going back, and I'm just going back to the whole plot again for a second, and I'm just thinking about no one truly had a grasp of everything except for Mori 88. And I guess at the end we had like Ida is kind of getting filled in there a little bit, and Kengo, of course, but Space Tomi is pretty much the only other person that really kind of got it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were right. So like them being in the pods and failing to win the game, as it were, like basically humanity, they had to escape the world to enter the real world.
Yes.
There was like
The game was corrupted, and they needed to leave the pods when they were like at the perfect age.
but like
Yeah.
exactly. So and though it wasn't designed for them to actually have a way out, they they had to fight and earn their way out in order to have a new world in a way.
Right. And that was all Ryoko 88.
And that was Ryoko's fucking hatred and shit. That
So it makes me think, do they die in the pods? Like when it's a new loop?
I
Is
think
that
so.
why there's only the AI
I think
that are
literally,
saved?
yeah. So I think it's like straight
Yeah.
up, it's like yeah, the Matrix almost, and like you can fight your way into the real world if you put a crazy complicated plan together. If you fail, you die in the pod, and a new you is born in the pod.
Nasty.
And then they have to go through the loop and learning process again, and the whole system just keeps going, and until someone fucking cracks it open and hatches out of the egg, you're not allowed to become you're not allowed to start humanity. You
And
know?
is it all synced? They all have to come out? It's not like one person.
No,
can come
I
out?
think you just have to like escape the destruction, you know?
And succeed. Everybody has to succeed, basically.
But I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt that everyone also has the determination and drive to overcome those odds versus those who would just die. You know? But their data, their minds can still get uploaded
Right.
Right? So the person this is so fucking complicated, but it's like the baby inside the pod will go through a bunch of real experiences or virtual experiences, but the real memory of that pod baby will get uploaded to Sector 0.
If they upload it.
And then the actual body dies out.
Right.
But then Sector 0 holds the memories of the previous loop babies that fucking died out. That's dark. That's super dark. Like, all those experiences are quite legit. Yeah, so...
It is some comfort that they can go back to the AI world and these other AI people can still live in the world. You know what I mean? Because it is kind of...
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'll scan.
Yeah, you're going pretty
No,
fast.
just... It's literally a picture of the fucking... it's... Yeah. Like, it's right there. It's literally right there.
Oh my God.
It's the fucking picture, right? That's what it is.
That's what it is.
There's more info there. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
while we're here, let's just read it. But it's like it's fucking showing you the baby. That's what it is. You're fucking hatching
moron.
in your little fucking pod.
One loop ago refers to one loop before the current time, and 2 loops ago refers to 2 loops before the current time. The nurturing of the 15 members started once the terraforming of the new planet was completed, but the details of the terraforming's official end date are unknown. Therefore, the details on when the current loop began or how many have passed before it are unknown. However, based on the stability of the facility, it's believed that there have been at least 300 loops leading up to this point.
That is so many. So many people lived and died.
Holy shit.
Man, that pod water must be dirty as shit.
Dang.
And let me remind you that
1,500 dead children. 1,500 dead babies to get 15 successful ones.
They could have had a whole city.
like
Holy shit.
They sent
45? 45? Wait, 15? Yep, no.
what if you
300,
want 15
carry
by
the 2?
loop, then it's 45.
45. 4,500.
But there's also multiple probes that were sent out.
So we don't want to talk about that yet. Shut up.
It is in
I know, but actually shut up. Because we have to get it all down first. Because the end of the story implies that all that shit's about to get fucked as another humanity is about to land on top of them.
Yep.
So let's fucking read what we have first.
Okay.
And then get there. There's too much. All right. Tamao? We were on Tamao, right?
Yeah.
Yes, slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we'll do
right.
that one.
85. When Tamao Karabe from one loop ago arrived in 85, the AI, Granny Tamao, originally from 85, was erased by Universal Control since they're the same person. To eliminate any discrepancies, the erased Tamao was established to be visiting relatives in Shimane.
So smart that you
Okay.
see.
No conflicts.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Baby Mura. Though Chihiro was born on March 2nd, 2100, her actual identity is Professor Chihiro Morimura from 2188. Therefore, she has no recollection about 2 loops ago or the time before Chihiro was born in the current loop, as those memories belong to the Morimura from 2 loops ago. She also has the memories from 2188, which include knowledge about Project Arc and the simulated space, her feelings towards Jurezumi, and her maternal instincts towards Tsukasa Okino.
Right.
One thing I want to clarify, because I feel like I missed a bit. You know the pact that she did with Goto? Now that we know this whole thing, can you remind me what was her end goal?
She wanted another loop.
She wanted another loop so that she could try to do this right, so that she could get...
She wanted another loop so that she could be born out of Iori's body when at the 18-year mark.
Okay, she wanted to transplant her memories into...
Yeah, because her existing in that body prematurely was a fucked version of her plans.
Okay, perfect.
So there had been 300 fucking loops up to that point. Possibly.
So what's one more?
What the fuck is one more? And she just wanted to jump back in and do it right.
Okay.
Yeah, the next entry. Yeah, this is. I'm gonna need to understand something about that in a second. Tamao. Okay, so when discrepancies occur, if the same person shows up twice in the same reality, they get erased by universal control. Tamao jumping over does cause that to happen. I'm trying to think if any other examples of that occur, because Muako gets moved and
she
deleted
can't go
and then reinserted, right? That one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it never quite... It spit her out in 2025, right? But when she came back, it just reset her
I think it was like
position.
you know too much. You can't go back.
Yeah, it's
There's
just
no
probably
two
just...
Miwako's,
Yeah, it was
right?
probably just like, let's not let the confusion of those memories continue being a problem, right? Okay. So... this needs to make sense here. The grown-up version of Chihiro Morimura from 2 loops ago, when the world was reset, Morimura was the Morimura that was saved in Sector 0 continued into the new world as a simulated personality. Correct. Why did she believe that they had no loops left?
Yeah.
What was her reason for thinking that they could no longer successfully loop?
Was that not real and she was just trying to manipulate?
We're gonna have to... I don't know.
Yeah.
It has not told us yet.
Okay.
We don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna be more stuff for loop later
Okay.
on.
We're just gonna keep reading.
Yeah.
AI managed by Universal Control, but she is real to me. Damn it! Shut the fuck up, fucking video game. I'll delete you. I'll delete this entry right here so that no one can see it, like Morimura did. All right. We did this. We did this. We did this. Fuck you, you shitty cop. You're the worst. I can't believe I thought you were cool until I saw you in action. Maybe that's the thing, right? Like, just distinguished old man from a fucking distance. Seems like he's had a hard, rough time on the job. But one case goes down where you see him letting some fucking assaults go, and you're just like, yeah, all right, that's how you did your job for the last fucking 50 years, you piece of shit. All AI cops are bastards. AI cab, yeah, okay. Professor Doji, we never see you because you're not real. Sure. All right, Heida Takamiya.
Yeah, also fake.
Fake.
Track members.
Fake.
Fake.
Fake, super fake, fake, all fake.
Men in Black. Fake.
Mad fake. Even the super fucking evil looking one. Shacho. Shacho. That face is gonna fucking stick with me, man. It's such an evil villain archetype. Yep.
That guy? Him?
Yep.
He was fake?
You're in middle school and you're already tilting your glasses down and fucking getting a weird fucking perv grin. No good. No good. Alright, the automated factory. Most functions of the current automated factories take place online. Not only has the production time been drastically shortened, but due to technological leaps in 2188, their potential range of products output is near infinite. Okay. So yeah, we have like all of that is just a way of going like, yeah, giant crazy like spaceships, infinite reproduction, you know what I mean? Like, we've solved it. We've got our fucking perpetual motion machine spitting out more energy than it can actually deplete. So
yeah,
no shortages of what we can put out there. DD426, of course.
Ida uses DD426 in hopes that the Sentinel project would result in a failure. He had given up on this world, so he wanted to start a new loop quickly.
Yep. Man, half information is more dangerous than no information.
Yeah. It's wild at the beginning of this who I thought was going to have the key to reveal all to me. And
Yeah.
I thought at the very beginning, this man was like super smart and he was going to like reveal shit. But he had no fucking idea what he was doing.
Because at the end of the day, all he was gotta put on a show for Tommy.
Yep.
That's it.
That's all.
And what a show it was.
He's a simple man.
Okay, well.
Minus the LE. The Deimos Code.
A program that was written in 2188, 20 million years ago, during the heyday of an ancient civilization. The 2188 researcher Ryoko Shinonome was sick of humanity and believed peace could only be attained through genocide. She was the one responsible for this code.
Yeah, so Millions fucking Knives over here basically deciding that, nah, let's end it all because I got broken up with.
Yeah. Fucking...
One bad relationship, huh? Damn. Ryoko Shinonome 2088 posting on our nice girls. Straight up. Straight up. Yeah, and not just genocide, eternal genocide.
like humanicide. Like, the
But like
whole species.
rebirth and then
just
kill.
boom.
Rebirth and kill. How
Just
many
because you have a broken heart.
we had? Yeah, my
I'm sad. No one else can be happy
instead of putting on eyeliner and writing poems, she decided to create a baby birth and kill machine.
Hey, whatever keeps you occupied, man.
And it won't even have any bearing on your life. You're gonna die anyways.
It's like, at least be a villain in a world where like every death is like a soul you can consume or some shit. Then your little baby killing factory will at least power you up to
Give you
some
some purpose.
horrible ends. But nah.
Just fuck the future.
Yep.
You could have easily pretended that you did this and would have the same bearing on your life. Like, just imagine it. And
Yo, that Ida 88 dick must have been stupid. It must have been
girthy.
Next level.
Yo.
To get you to give up on humanity?
Yo, 22nd century dick, man.
What?
Yo.
What?
They bought out Pfizer.
The loop.
we read this
Producing
one already.
Viagra right in your dick.
Infinite dead babies. Just because of that. Skelly V jumping in immediately. The fifth question asked for details on Ida's betrayal of Shinonome in 2188. This is an interview about that.
Ooh, perfect.
Okay, Skelly, give it a second.
We'll get there. Loop. One loop ago refers to one loop before the current time, and two loops ago refers...
Unless it's relevant to right now. Oh, it's relevant to right now. Okay. The fifth question asked for details on Ida's betrayal of Shinonome in 2188. Kamitani says that Ida is portrayed with three personalities in the game. The adult Ida, who will do anything to accomplish his goals, the younger Amaguchi, who is like a flirt but is actually nice, and the 2188 version, which combines the worst aspects of the other two personalities. Competent, but a playboy who can be cruel.
Okay.
Kamitani says that at the end, with the survivors killing each other, Shinonome might have despaired and asked Ida to commit suicide alongside her, and that Ida would not have agreed to it. His last words to her were probably horrible ones, and Kamitani said that it's hard to imagine how she would have felt after that, left alone as the last surviving human.
Bro. Jeez.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Oh, wow. That's dark.
Yeah, I did think
So she was like, hey, you wanna do it with me and like end it? And he was like, no, I gotta
But I
roll.
disagree with that. I disagree with the suicide. No. But the last people left there, and that being... That's a fucked situation. It's a hyper fucked situation. And that creating... this hatred that resulted in this is like extra fucked because of whatever his reaction was, you know, from what we're reading here. And I mean, it's hopeless, but like, I don't know. I feel like I would just, I'd always just, I'd let the situation do me in then, you know? I don't know.
Depends how sure you are of the outcome.
I don't know. Like, is it just despair? Or is it like, is our continued existence causing any strain on whatever's left here, or is it affecting the future project? Is there anything to it, or is it just despair, right? Because like no one can say what the fuck it would be like to be in that situation, right? To feel the in fact, literally the mecha story I wrote with Josh was about the feeling of potentially being the last person and what that would do to you emotionally. It's a headspace that you can't even begin to fathom. And like when we started exploring that, it took a while to figure out what the steps of like cracking you would go through, right? But but it's hard to say how everyone would react. Everyone's different. To me, just standing back, I say I would not come to the conclusion of let's form a suicide pact. I would not be on board with that. I'm not going to condemn her for her actions, and I'm not going to say like fuck you for the fact that you came to that conclusion. I'm saying what I would do. That's where I stand on it. I would not take those actions, right? And what he did made it worse, right? What Ida did there made it way worse. But all I can speak to is what I would do if I were in those shoes in that situation, right? So like, I get it, everybody. That's you. That's what you would do. That's not you. I get you. But what am I supposed to do here? I'm talking about me. That's the point.
Feel different, Wooly.
I'm describing what my rationale would be in that situation. But I can't account for a ton of fucking what that would do to you. You know, it's hard. It's hard to imagine.
You think you know loneliness?
Yeah.
Like, this is next level.
Yeah, I'm just built different. I don't know. Like,
so that means that when A was going around killing everyone, theoretically these two were
they were surviving, and they were the last ones left.
Yeah.
After the bomb went off and after the shootout and all of that
power
shit.
supply, not power supply, but the life support goes down, and then they're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean they like the power supply went out, right? And like that was it. That was a wrap for them. And the fact that like what little was left of humanity ended in them fucking killing each other is a super depressing, poetic, like, oh my god, we suck.
Yeah.
Right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like the fact that like the worst was happening when there was nothing left in a situation where you would think everyone would come together in some way, shape, or form, but motivations and greed and pathologies all resulted in what they did. But yeah, just on that subject matter, like, yeah, that's fucking oof of the millennium, and that's how I feel about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys like?
I'm not.
Give me another perspective here, because I just gave mine. Not
that I'm not afraid of suicide, but in those dire circumstances, like whenever I watch a zombie movie, I'm like, I would just rather die. Like
if you're trapped in a room and they're coming and there's
like
no escape.
Yeah. But in this situation, I would probably hold out for a long time in the sense of if my memory is correct and it was for sure life supply is out, you are going to die. There's that little part of me that's like, well, maybe something will happen. Maybe something will happen to make me live and I will get through this, this pass. But if I know there's no hope, I guess it just depends how I'm feeling then. It's like, well, I don't know, is it really worth it to like live out an extra 5 days or however you have, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have moments.
Right? So
you
it's
have
like,
moments.
am I going to even enjoy these moments? Why suffer even more? So it depends, what my quality of life there.
Well, that's exactly it.
Like my sadness thing, I know that I can get over that. Not that I've ever been the last human on earth, but you would hope that you can get through, like emotions are just going to pass. But yeah, it would be quality of life. If my quality of life is shit, then I'm okay with killing myself. If there's certainty, like there's certainty that I will not make it out.
It's such a tricky subject.
When did Tamao 88 die? I guess in one of those two
Fucking shootout.
moments.
Poor
Yeah,
Granny.
yeah, yeah.
Got blown up.
Probably could have been the shootout. Could have been the shootout. Yeah. That fucking they were doomed.
A was looking for Morimura.
He had blown her up. Or
we're gonna get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, okay.
For sure. We're gonna get there. But like yeah, that's kind of the idea. So I agree with you on that. I'll add that like for me, it's not to say like it never makes sense under any circumstances, because that's not true.
Yeah.
I've never experienced every circumstance, but the circumstances that come to mind, right? There might be more, but the ones that come to mind are if it would help something or someone else in a situation where I know that I'm just prolonging like a bad situation for someone else in a way. You know, if there's a little bit of food left and this might actually help,
right.
you know, if the energy is being spent conserving me when it'll help preserve the future thing, then that makes sense, right? If it's a sacrificial thing, it's a bit easier to get on board with. The second part is if there is if you're suffering in a like, I guess, like actively dying context, like that's more like I guess I'm thinking like physically,
Right.
in a
like
way.
if you're in pain.
Yeah.
Bleeding out.
Right. And I know that psychologically and certainly like mentally you can put that on the table. But for me, I would limit it to like physical suffering, bullet shot bleeding out type of thing, or whatever the case is. That would be another example of when it would make sense in a way. And I think outside of those scenarios, it would just be like, you know, take that time to fucking, I don't know, get your affairs in order mentally. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what I would hold on to. You know?
Not in her case, it seems.
Yeah. Any input on that?
I mean-
Because I'm legitimately curious, considering how many people are like, yeah, Woolie, that's just you. So I'm like, okay, if I'm in the minority on this, then I'll take it. But like, I'm legitimately curious.
You would
to
not
know.
give up at any point. You would stay alive no matter what happens, except if you're having a mortal wound.
Until I starved or got blown out of an airlock.
Okay, so you're alone with somebody else, and you're telling the other person, we're the last two people, what's happening?
Yeah.
Should we like do something? Should we give up?
Yeah.
You would not go there. You would never, ever, ever say, should we give up?
If there's nothing left, then life will do us in anyway.
And then you're talking to the other person, and you're like, okay, let's do it. And the other person is like, I'm not gonna do it with you.
Yeah.
How does that change your outlook? You're the last two people.
I have
there.
no idea.
That's what she's going through.
Yeah,
right now, right?
I have no idea. It's so fucked either way that I can't.
It is fucked.
possibly know.
Okay, I don't have the answers. I'll have to say I'm the kind of person that sometimes I hear something and I don't always have something to say about it because I believe that it stands on its own, and my input or feelings they're irrelevant because this situation is too messed up. I don't think that I would add anything more to it. You telling people I would do this and they're saying that's just you. That's because you're taking the time to share that thought with the people. Me, what would I do? I don't know what I would do.
Okay.
Straight up.
You can't predict.
I can't predict because I'm the last person alone. Yeah, okay, I'll go around, but at some point I'll be like, there's only a few minutes left to my life. I feel myself be weakened. I'm the last person in the universe. I'm going to die. And at some point you have to come to a certain form of peace with that.
Yeah.
And this is such a wild conversation.
Yeah, it is. It's very much so. You know,
Like we're talking about death.
and then and now like this is the easy version of the conversation because we're discussing it individually, not even in a dynamic with the two of them, right? Of which, of course, like she had time to go and fuck things up before, I guess, like committing suicide. You know.
So it's kind of thing where you know the end of your life is coming, but you still have energy to do these things. So it's a short term, but not so short term.
So either he was not around at that point and left her alone, or or maybe she killed her. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, I
see
guess
what's
we'll
up. But like either way, she had time to fuck the whole system up in an insanely evil way because of going through something super fucked. You know. Yeah. I don't know. All right.
Oh boy.
Proliferation of probes. A theory that Professor Yuki Takamiya of 2188 advocated and implemented for Project Arc. The probes carry DNA payloads to keep the human race alive, and they self-replicate and repair using the natural resources mined from asteroids in their path through deep space. They continually build up and break down, even through any unforeseen accidents. As long as they proliferate themselves like living organisms, they'll eventually arrive at their destination. Yeah, no failure.
But doesn't that sound like it's too strict, too rigid in a way? Like, if you're hell-bent on succeeding, can you succeed too hard?
Yeah.
This is a danger, right?
Well, clearly the end of the game is implying that.
Exactly.
But
Again,
if you're light years away from each other, right?
Right.
Maybe it's not that bad. Unless humanity becomes spacefaring again, and then they build up to a point where they can encounter each other.
And
but like considering the fact that the tech existed to get you there in the first place, that clearly the tech exists to like the growth of humanity in the new world is going to be way faster than fucking any other natural version of humans. You know.
I feel my memory might be wrong here, but I thought the probes there were multiple, all traveling, like to kind of scout things out and then reform together.
Yeah, and they learn from each other.
I didn't take it to mean they all go out in different directions to find things. I kind of took it to mean they all, like, because they pinged each other. I think there was like some sort of communication between them, and that way if you lost one, it wasn't so bad.
Right.
But
so
I could be wrong.
So I said I wanted to talk about this later, but just to get it out of the way now, I get it. I was confused by what we were looking at. This is a cutscene of the planet that we know. It fast forwards to show you a completely different planet super far away, where another reality is going through the exact same thing. Therefore, that's actually just another version of the same events we played in the game, taking place on a different planet completely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that whole probe
it's just
thing,
another
they've
planet.
really
That's
just
it.
went
there. Yes.
Okay.
That's it. All right. We'll get that out of the way now and move on.
In that sense,
So anyway,
the crisis that they were dealing with throughout the game is a crisis that could happen over and over.
yes, and it is because the I mean, I was going to get to this as the last thing, but whatever. This implies that
I'm sorry,
the probes.
Woolie.
It's fine. This implies that the probes are landing everywhere throughout space, creating tons of colonies that are starting up humanity, going through the exact same thing. Because at the source where the original deployment was corrupted by Ryoko, so they're all gonna undergo
Of course,
the same problems.
I know you wanted to wait on this.
Yes, I did.
But it's too big, man.
Yeah, all right. No, that's fine.
It's too
It's fine. It's fine. It's clearly we have more to learn in this, but this is dropped here. I just, like, we were going through things one by one and reading
we
it
saw
here, and
this
then
by
it would.
accident.
Well, no, it's like because
the
it was.
probe brought it up.
Yeah, because no, they said like go check the last event too, and it's like I was like, oh, okay, let's go check the last event besides the truth.
Oh.
But like I wanted to get to this last so we can talk about it, but whatever. But the point is that there's tons of other Earths going through the same situation right now out in space, and they're all having this fucking infinite genocide thing going, and in theory. Right, if once group can succeed, then eventually the other groups can succeed.
Yeah.
Right, mathematically, it just takes one. It's the idea of the replicator in life. It just takes one for life to exist. So on all these planets with tons of loops going and the ability to pull resources off of the planet they're on, they can eventually keep going until some group gets out.
Yeah.
And when they're ready, they'll start a humanity. You know, and that is not even necessarily guaranteed to be 300, 110, or 1,000 or 15 billion loops later. So these humanities can all start at different points in time.
Yeah.
So it's just a crazy thought experiment to macro out of the whole story and think about the fact that infinite humanities are going to be created going through this struggle as a result, and they're all going to have identical beginnings, but ultimately the odds of that becoming a problem are also infinity, because we're working in infinity metrics, right? Like, will two races encounter each other at some point? Infinity says yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So, but that's whatever. Like, this is, you know, if we're looking at it and we're talking about it, then we're talking about it, right? So infinite planets being born at infinite times, some of them infinite distances in the future, some of them like right away, mean that some of them are going to become spacefaring ahead of others, and they might encounter some that have not yet started up yet, where the facility is going through the process. Others might encounter civilizations that have already been at it for fucking
just
billions
like
of
normal
years.
Universe, you know, like we feel like we're super advanced, but
Yeah,
maybe there's
we
other
happen
things
to be
going on.
following this one planet, but we can find a deep in the recesses, you know, a fucking group of people that have been at it with a full ass population for all we know. Who knows, right? Everyone's saying your fanfics are canon. Yeah, sure. You can use that as a reason to say, oh, meanwhile on another planet somewhere, a different version of this event, Miwako's the hero, and she's the best and strongest, and everyone loves her, and she gets her reverse harem. Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Anyway, but that's the idea, is that, like, the story can perpetuate infinity directions.
Yeah. As the name implies, infinite possibilities.
Infinite.
And I mean, it's smart to do it that way, because if you're literally the last of the human race, why would you just want to hope that one group of pods
It's gonna fail.
It's
Gonna fail for sure.
Well, I mean, I think ideally one succession guaranteed is what you would want.
But if you can send out one guaranteed and then a couple more too, just to like cover your bases.
Yeah. One is not enough.
Yes, but they're also like mirrors of each other, society-wise. Like that's a weird discussion to get into.
That's weird. Yeah.
If you are sending different groups of people out in different, you know, genetic results, then you could expect different things to occur, and you'd just be creating different populations. But the weirdness of this discussion is that you're creating the same circumstances infinite times. So that's not as clear-cut yeah, let's definitely do that. If the choices are zero continuity versus this, then yeah, you go with this route.
Yeah. The only thing I would say that would make me change how I feel about what you just said is that, yeah, they could be all the same and they're all coming from the same backgrounds, so the variation won't be very much. But I imagine that there will be so far away from one another that by the time they do meet up again, it'll be totally different. Culture is totally different.
But
people.
that's what I literally just addressed, though, is that some will meet up with planets when they meet up that are not even cooked yet. Others will meet with planets that have been cooking for perhaps millions of years. And the state of these places will be crazy drastic, and others might meet up with some that are literally at the same level they're at. But all versions of the weirdness will occur. The less natural ones and the bad ones and the good ones and the extra weird ones, where a group of people that are identical to another group of people that spacefare at the exact same time encounter each other.
Infinite. But I'm sure they didn't send out infinite amount of probes, right?
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
impossible.
finite amount that went out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, finite is finite, but the idea here is that there's so many that it might as well be infinite, because they can sustain themselves as long as they need to. You know, there's no energy loss in the process here. Finite, but increasing exponentially.
Oh, okay, yeah, I suppose if I forgot the self-replicating part.
Self-replicating is a process. It doesn't create infinity right away.
I literally forgot that they self-replicate.
But over time,
yeah.
it approaches infinity forever, right?
Yeah,
That's the closest thing to infinity we'll ever have, is the finite number approaching it, you know?
That's pretty fucked up.
Humans just spreading their filth across the
Yeah, like
universe.
that makes, I mean, that does make you the bad guy. That makes you the Flood in fucking Halo. That makes you the bad guy in any other science fiction story, is like this group of fucking viral ass beings conquering all these planets, terraforming them, preparing them for their own, you know, fucking whatever, hatching.
Right, like a virus.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an overflow of brats.
Yeah. And like,
It's a brat overflow.
Oh my god.
Oh. All right.
Cockpit. Growth pods intended to pass down humankind's culture and knowledge over the course of 20 years. These were meant for the 15 individuals who would inherit the new land. Those inside experience a world indistinguishable from reality through their nanomachines, as if they were living a normal life on Earth.
This particular pilot, I think we know who that is.
Some bald head hoe.
I'm looking at the other curves. Only one of the 15 still rocking curves like that.
it now kind of is okay that they were naked inside the Sentinels. Like, it wasn't completely just gratuitous.
Yeah,
that
they were
like, in
they were
growth
they were
pods.
literally inside of growth pods. Exactly. So like nudity is
There's a logic to it.
yeah, and when they get out of the pods too, like nudity is the fucking least of your concerns.
Yeah.
You know, when you're two fucking freshly baked 18-year-olds. So yeah. Growth pods. Okay. Well, I feel like humanity is going to have a massive Japanese bias going forward into the future.
You don't say.
Yeah, a humongous Japanese bias. The first kids are all named like whatever Taro and shit.
Shintaro.
A weaponized mech that predated the Sentinels, equipped with 16 rocket launchers and 2 Gatling guns, with no way of handling close quarters combat. They were swiftly outclassed as the Kaiju drew near. You know, we never even got to see it on the battlefield. We had the ability to deploy it. If we back out of here, the things we didn't read yet continue to glow, don't they? Well, let's just keep going.
I'm not sure.
First generation Sentinel function. Using the rocket engines, giant pistons on both legs, Sentinels leap high into the air. Massive shockwave upon landing is powerful enough to top Kaiju.
Yeah, we're going through the gear now.
Yeah.
EMP attractor.
Oh yeah, those fucking awesome. Man, I would love to have some of those things like on like a triptych, like framed, like 3 frames of animation in like a nice black mat, and then just put that on the wall.
The last one at the bottom is like, oh!
Fuck yeah.
First, yeah.
All right, the EMP attractor.
Well, that's good.
Unleashes a forward-aimed magnetic electrum EMP, paralyzes the enemy's electrical equipment, draws many attention, which can be useful to track them from high-priority targets. Also stops the rotor blades of flying enemies, bringing them crashing to the ground. Armament spreads numerous superheated flares into the air, destroying aerial Kaiju and missiles. Launches several auto-homing missiles at ground-based Kaiju, deprioritizing anti-air capabilities. Made the missiles lighter while still preserving Sentinel's mobility. Ha! Looks like it was drawn on fucking graph paper.
Yeah.
Limiter removal. First generation Sentinel function. When the Sentinel's joints or drive systems are under stress, temporary restrictions are placed on their movement to make sure those areas don't break. By removing these safe operating limits, however, the Sentinel can move at 3 times its normal speed. Long periods in this state will cause the Sentinel to break down, so it is considered best to avoid extensive use.
You're the real MVP. Limiter removal is the real MVP. Every time. One of the coolest fucking tropes ever created. I love it so much. I was just thinking that if Yakisoba Pon is really just a bunch of nanomachines creating artificial flavoring in your brain as you're fed sludge through a tube, what's to say that fucking Hijiyama's not gonna run back to the pods every other day to get a hit of that drug?
It's too powerful. He can't resist.
You know, sure, he could try to learn how to make his own delicious yakisoba pan, but is he going to do that, or is he just going to go for the quick hit fucking Coke fix that's right up on the hill?
It's right there. This Uber Eats it.
Right?
Fuck.
Tackle. Tackles kaiju in its path at a speed of Mach 1.47. Utilizes the same propulsion power typically reserved for its leap attack, so trajectory parallel to the ground results in explosive speeds.
Do you have a squirt? I coughed in my hand.
Good use of the mute button.
Huh?
Good mute.
Oh, thank you. I've been practicing.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. You can. Well, I was eventually gonna start going like gibberish, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, weapon talk until Punchmom is not paying attention because we're talking about the weapons.
Yeah, we're past the story.
My
This
brain
is
is
tech.
turned off.
This is geek otaku
It's jargon.
stuff right
It's
now.
jargon. It's fucking space jargon. Which there's literally a type of fan that enjoys this stuff heavily, that loves to go into the more jargon you hear, the more realistic it can be, because it's getting as complex as you would imagine it might be in real life. Yeah, I enjoy it. I like when there's a battle station and then on a spaceship and the people are calling to various tactics and maneuvers, Star Trek does it, Gundam does it. It's fun. Utilizing the Sentinels' movement energy to create electromagnetic armor, they speed gets reduced, defense power increases significantly.
EMP shrouding unleashes a powerful electromagnetic pulse around the Sentinel to stop enemy movement and draw their attack. Aerial kaiju will crash to the ground.
Bumpy knuckles.
Yeah. Attack kaiju launching heavy impact arms towards them. Originally built for stuff.
Gun.
Big gun, 6-barrel Gatling gun, firing 4,500,000 whatever.
Big
million,
missile.
thousand, billions.
Big rocket.
Jam.
Guardian Avenger.
Yeah, that was good. That was cool.
Shield emitter.
Yeah.
I took a look down and I realized that the bottom of the screen was still.
Yeah, there's a lot of
my
tech.
God.
And then we're gonna go into
Too
buildings and food.
Yep. I hit the point that I'm like, all right, got it.
I mean, you guys played it. You know what these things are.
They're very
Yeah,
cool.
but the lore though.
They're very cool. Absolutely.
Deimos, black hole.
Hey, you know what? Where is Missile Rain? There it is.
Third generation Sentinel armament rapidly launches multiple clusters of
There you go.
missiles. 10 smaller missiles inside each cluster.
One becomes 10. There you go.
Dispersed mid-flight, raining down on a wide area.
Beautiful. Okay.
That's good.
Leg spike. Yeah. Shield repair.
Counter armor. Condensers.
Okay.
Kaiju.
Here we go.
The kaiju are the result of a program created by Ryoko Shinonome of 2188, created to attack the simulated world by utilizing the simulation game Deimos. She had done this to make sure humanity would not survive to see the new world.
Yeah. What was her specialty again?
Her professional
Yeah.
specialty?
Genetics.
Genetics? Yeah.
Yeah, because one in the little
Genetics.
Yep.
Okay.
epilogue thing.
Yep. Genetics. Okay.
Good recall.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, that conversation that we didn't want to think about, that with Okino and Hijiyama, really was the first hint
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
at this bullshit.
I couldn't even think about it because as you guys are fighting, I'm like, it's not real. So you
But
just
you can't focus
go
on
there.
anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's such a dangerous thing to do, to say none of this is real. It was all a dream. I used to
Exactly.
read Word Up magazine.
Yeah.
Is a super dangerous thing to do because you immediately can just stop caring about everything occurring. You know?
Yeah.
What the fuck is the point?
What is the point?
So you can't think about it, otherwise you get uninvested.
I think
Yeah,
that's matters.
exactly. And it's like, well, the point is that reality awaits you on the other side,
Yeah,
alongside
there was a point. Yeah.
a mint julep and reality await you. So, here we go.
Now, buildings.
UC. Universal Century.
All humans, except for the 15 members of Project Ark, are AI construct that are controlled by Universal Control.
Once a probe arrives at a new planet and creates artificial satellite and creates the artificial satellite, it also creates the facility and the growth pods there.
I was wondering
Inside
about
the
that.
growth pods, all the DNA data is used to start the nurturing process of the 15 project members. The command ship monitors the surface facilities so it can determine whether the final phase needs to be redone before any harm can come to these facilities. Okay.
I was wondering about multiple probes arriving.
Yeah.
And the satellite. I was like, how come the satellite is there, but the probe is
It's a
taking
part
care
of it.
that? Yeah, okay.
It's a part of the ship process, like the you know, the sectors, the fucking the bases, the leaders, the actual control ship. All of that is, you know, once it arrives on the planet, it breaks off into those parts. You know, it's kind of nuts. Like you look at like every specialist and like every type of different, you know, major category of scientist that gets involved in the process, and you see how they're useful. And it's like somehow A and his assassin balls got to fucking put their genes into the future. It's like all you add is complete fucking antisocial
Just a wild card.
Yeah, you add sociopathic tendencies to the you know,
That's very human.
disconnection from empathy
But he's hot.
to the mix.
Oh my god.
But he hot though. Okay, we have the chance to get rid of
Oh my god.
all potential mass murderers and CEOs, but we also get rid of hot people at the same time. What do?
Tough choice. Tough choice.
Everybody uggo.
What do? Morally gray. Sector 0. Jiro Izumi and Morimura were able to unintentionally... Punchmom, you take this one.
Okay. Jiro Izumi and Mirimura were able to unintentionally skip the loop because Tsukasa Okino set their data to Sector 0 when the world was about to disappear 2 loops ago. Since then, Sector 0 has been used as a means to skip the loop. It's actually allocated to the virtual world playback machine as a storage region for the massive data that makes up each virtual space.
Yeah.
fair.
But there's only 15 pods. You know? No matter what happens, those are the only bodies.
Sector 1, a virtual space created in order to pass on the culture and knowledge of humanity to the 15 individuals arriving in the new land.
Is the new line for each of them? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Morimura, professor, was like, oh, we were debating between these different sectors. We just decided to go with all of them. But they all predated the nanomachines. We wanted these new humans to be untouched, right?
Yeah.
But then she's like, but I'm going to lead them. You know me that destroyed humanity? Like,
Yep.
let's start humanity, but
Yep.
I still want to be there.
Exactly. Yep. And
If you want something done right, you do it yourself. That's what they say.
and also the whole like well anyway, I like the whole discussion about like how far back should we start,
Yeah.
you know. It's interesting because the end result is, well, they all come out of the era and learn about the future, and they know about nanomachines already, so they're already pretty close to the place that the downfall happened.
Like right before, like they have all the ingredients that led up to the downfall.
Yeah.
If anything, they should have. Anyways, you should learn from your mistakes. You should include it so that people can learn and then.
But if all,
You know,
here's the question, right? And this is important: is if all things went according to plan, right? Because you have 3 kids per fucking sector here, right? If all things went according to plan, and there was not this infinite loop of confusion and time travel, what would the 15 have looked like upon emerging? Right? Like, if everything went according to plan, 3 people would think it was the 40s.
Right.
And 3 people would think it was the fucking 2100s. And they would all be the same age, but they would have completely different sensibilities and understandings about what reality is.
Yeah.
And then those 2 years would be all they had to figure out what the fuck was going on.
It is kind of a weird thing. Like, now you have to start humanity with a bunch of, like, homophobic 40s kids. You know what I mean? Like,
how is...
Nijiyama is like, death to America! You're like, whoa, chill.
Yeah. How is that a better plan?
yeah.
Right? Like, why
That's
is...
putting a lot of faith.
What is the
right?
confusion of the era of the... What is the confusion worth there, you know?
Yeah.
I understand it's 2 years to adjust, but that sucks.
That's very little, and that's
2
a lot,
years?
like 18 years. And then you're like, you have to change the way you're thinking right now because this doesn't match the proper timeline that we want to
As
establish.
Someone who works as a counselor, it takes a lot more than 2 years to undo
change?
some
Of
behavior and thought
course, right?
patterns. Yeah, that you've like
24
established your whole
months.
life.
Sorry,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
1945 anymore. That doesn't fucking
Gosh.
that doesn't stick.
But
Yeah.
they were not many humans trying to decide the rest of humanity, and they killed themselves and like shot everyone up. So obviously, if this was one way to buy the peace, they're like, "Fuck it, let's just each have a sector.
Yeah.
That way we can just stop arguing."
And I definitely also understand that like they couldn't decide on which would be best, and they kind of went for this kind of scattershot approach. But like, yeah, that would definitely be like worse. The further back you were, the worse off you'd be. Those people from the 40s would always end up being really maladjusted, you know?
The internet, that's not important.
And
You're not gonna have a calculator in your
Yeah.
pocket your whole life. Gotta learn your times tables, kids.
And you know what? I guess if we were all trying to choose what to do and
Yeah.
we couldn't agree on what the best way to do it, then this would kind of end up being the compromise.
Right.
But like, I guess to me, I think like maybe it'd be better to just like divisions of creating differences between the sectors is a good idea, but like the era thing would just leave them worse off coming out of the pod. I would think about like how to best adjust you coming out of the pod. You know, the last thing you want is someone coming out after all that work and then just being a complete fucking waste of effort. That was just a person who like sucked.
Yeah, like generational differences that are hard to.
You know, if they just couldn't get past it and ended up being like a massive problem in who knows what kind of ways. Like if you know, like at best just like unhelpful, and at worst like actively homicidal, or just like delusional that any of this is real. This isn't real. I'm fucking dreaming right now. Send me back to the 40s, please. I hate this. Do I have to kill everybody to get back? I don't know. Whatever.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, it's a compromise that results in some people having a further head start than others, kind of like humanity. Privileged future kids, man. They would talk. They would just talk. They would talk. Yes, they would talk. Yes, they would talk. Yes, they would talk. And talking would help them get through it, but it wouldn't make it any better for the people that it sucked for. Talking would get them out of the situation and caught up, but they're not suddenly going to be A-okay with it. It would still suck, is
And
what
it
I'm
takes
trying
time.
to say.
We could save them that time.
Yes, they would talk, but it would still suck. That's it. In truth, it holds the growth pods and the computers that simulate virtual space. This facility was constructed on the planet after terraforming phase was completed, built to last for about 5,000 years.
Built to last.
Damn. Okay. So the pods, or rather...
I think I understand the loop thing about it being the last loop, maybe? Because they did 300 loops, and they did it for 16 years.
Oh!
That's 4,800 years.
Oh, shit!
So the facility was about to expire.
The facility had 5,000 years to get it done.
You're a goddamn genius. You're so
Still had
smart.
200 years, but that's not a lot compared to the...
Wow.
Yeah.
So smart. So fucking smart.
Hey! Brain mom.
Yo.
Brain mom, they're saying. All right. Good
Big
shit.
brain. She's sitting on her brain right now, just like huge chair brain.
Yeah. Damn. Nice. Good job. Good
point out,
catch.
good point out, yeah.
Shame about the racism, but
You win some, you lose some.
that's
know?
pretty good.
Yeah.
It's all a balance in life. You
You
know?
just need to talk. You just need to talk.
Yeah. Just talk.
Just talk with her.
5,000 years. So I was about to point out. Yeah, so you fucking got there way fucking faster. I was about to say, oh shit, each of these facilities that lands and replicates doesn't have infinity. It has 5,000 years from the moment it starts the count. So there are going to be replications that begin more than 5,000 years after another one has completed its process. There are going to be planets that fail
Right.
and are just graveyards for thousands of babies.
Oh, yeah.
And life, if it ever encounters that planet, will pass over, see some relics of a previous, time, and go, what happened here? And then check the logs and go, oh, a bunch of babies died, and that's all. And then that would be it. So there is a window of success.
What a way to put it. Just a bunch of babies dying.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. Yeah. Simulations, the infinite potential of humanity's existing billions of years apart from each other is still, barring the heat death of the universe, is still possible with this model, right? As long as the replication process started and created a facility many years down the line, far out in the farthest reaches of space, while another one had already succeeded in its process, Wild. What a fucking crazy universe this is. This is insane to think about. This is so heavy. This is one of the
There's a
heaviest
lot of layers.
fiction
Yeah.
drops I've ever had to hold.
Even after talking all this out, I will still have to go and read some more.
Oh, absolutely.
This is
I'm
so
gonna be
dense.
starting a playthrough on my own after this. I swear to God.
So what I'm scared of is the theory crafting, because every time something gives you all the facts out like this does, there's always room for theory crafting and the fanfic worlds,
sure,
of course.
for sure.
But there's going to be so much headcanon that I kind of don't want to encounter it because of how much there already is here. I don't have any room in my locker for headcanon right now, or probably ever. This is more than enough.
The shootout dream. It's actually not a dream, but a real event that drew Izumi 426 of 2 loops ago, and Morimura experienced 1 loop ago. After this incident, Izumi gets captured by the police, and Morimura escapes to another sector.
Yeah. It's interesting how the simulation calculates that, if I shoot you with a fake gun, you're gonna fake die.
Right.
And drop
just
to the
go back to
ground.
your pod
Yeah.
and just keep.
Sure, we'll pretend that you killed that guy. Why not? Yes, sir.
Wow, we made it.
Yeah.
It looks like a nice place.
Yeah, you'd move there. You'd
2
move to
moons is pretty cool.
the truth. Yeah, 2 moons is pretty rad, actually.
Did we not read the years?
The years.
Yeah, they weren't glowing.
Oh, they added stuff.
Who's where? Miura, Hijiyama, and Kurabe were born in Sector 5.
That's fair.
Takamiya, Minami, and Ogata were born in 4.
That's fair.
Yakushiji, Kisaragi, and Amaguchi from 3. Moreover, Tetsuya, Ida, and Inaba were born in this era one loop prior. Yep, correct. Sekigahara, Goto, and Shinonome are from Sector 2. And Juro, Chihiro, and Okino are from Sector 1. 5.
1?
1.
5 is
One.
40s.
One. Sorry. Counting backwards, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's the distribution.
What about these tabs on the event archive? The new characters that were added, like Tamao Kurabe.
So, I mean, like, yeah, it says what it said.
Yeah.
Right? But all events is all events, and now you get the actual distinction between the characters. And so we've got all the main cast, and then we get Juro 2 loops ago, Morimura herself. My God, thank God they did this. This is so cool.
Fuck, yeah.
This is the coolest. Okino gets a tab. Kurabe gets a tab. Ida gets a tab. You got Mura, BJ. Right? You see him show up here when they all rescue them together, and then he's already in the robot.
Right, yeah.
Like, so he immediately, like, you see him in human
One
form,
loop ago.
like, yeah, like for 1 second.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah.
And then
Okay,
he's already in the robot, you know? You got Baby Mura. Fuck all those who are saying the other name. That's
No,
no,
we're good.
No,
We're
stop
good.
it.
No.
Baby Mura is more than fine. Thank you. Dead Okino. Yeah, school teacher.
The one that tells Ida to go ahead.
The one that jumps.
That one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's so
And then
helpful.
dies.
Yeah.
You got Inaba. Digital Kurabe.
Okay, yeah.
And then 426. But this is interesting. They distinguish between them. So this is no, sorry. This is actually just the Juro that shows up from one loop prior and does nothing.
Is this one that had saved his data, and then when he comes back to the game, he's like 60, like still older?
No, so in this scene, you see him walk up and go, I don't know this guy. And it says, he's your clone.
Yeah.
And that Juro goes,
Yeah.
and then doesn't really amount to much.
This is the shooting?
And this is the shootout, the nightmare.
And it says appearances by
Juro
Izumi
2 loops ago,
and-
Ida, Morimura. Juro 1 loop ago, Morimura, Megumi Yakushiji, Sekigahara, Ryoko Shinonome, Tsukasa Okino. What?
I'm confused.
Oh, on the floor, right there.
Oh my god!
He did the job!
So he did kill 4 people!
Oh my god!
How could you do such a thing?
You.
Oh, fuck! Was that there the whole time?
I don't
whole
know.
time.
I don't remember seeing everybody on the floor there before.
Was that actually there? I feel like we would have noticed. Did we
They were
seriously?
always there. Oh my god, they were there the whole time.
Oh, we missed them. Oh, wow. So he literally, yeah, they're right there.
Even with my frame by frame shit. I
Yeah,
missed-
you missed it too.
missed it.
Wow.
Yo! Pop,
he killed
pop,
him?
pop, 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 pop. I know you shot everyone. They're all there.
Clearing the area. And then she walks up, steps over the bodies, tippy toes, over the kids.
It was a breadcrumb of dead kids. Basically, like, oh, follow the trail.
yeah. And
Oh, there they are.
Hey.
Been looking for you.
Pop, pop.
Juro.
Oh my god. And that's dead pod babies. That's not like fake dead. That's real dead.
Yeah.
To save the fake AI people. You fucking fool. But in the end, you get your happy ending because you were trying to do the right thing and your confusion was misguided. But we ultimately got to a happy future. So you get to get a happy ending. Everyone gets to have a happy ending because they weren't being malicious about it. Except for fucking Kengo, who gets no entry. So I guess we just gotta hold that.
No, Kengo had that image with the soundbite, no?
But that was it. They didn't. Did they update him?
No update at the bottom.
Kengo Ogata below.
No, they didn't update him. He just sucked. He wanted to show up again, and he just sucked. So the AI that manipulated her ultimately just amounts to nothing in the end.
Yeah. Haha.
Why even bother?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it just to be like, well, she didn't really kill humanity, he manipulated
It's
her,
to get a-
so
it's-
you can like her now.
It's the it's to put the blame off of her. It's to give a nice quick Ava reference, and it's to give you something. Earlier they set up that Ogata's dad was a board member, so they give you a
Right.
little something there.
Right.
But they also imply that Ryoko's dad was a badass fucking yakuza locked up in jail and some shit. So
Wait,
And
Yuki.
Yuki, rather
Yeah.
Yuki, excuse me. Okay.
Yoko
So
had Nozomu, the astronaut.
let's hold on a second.
So Kengo was the biggest failure?
But he was also the scapegoat for Mori 88's innocence or Mori's not 88, but Mori's ability to say, "Hey, I got manipulated by someone else." It's kind of what it sounds like. Okay, the dream Kurabe sees of him killing everyone. Seeing this dream makes him anxious that he might end up killing the kids. Yep. During the time, 426 believed it was the only way to escape the loop. The dream is an incident that occurred 1 loop ago, and the person who killed everyone is Juro from 2 loops ago. There's a total of 6 deaths, which included Juro from 1 loop ago, Sekigahara, Ryoko. Yeah, okay, that's what we just confirmed. Yeah, all right. No, we knew that. What about the other shootout?
In space?
Yeah.
Was there an entry for that one?
Yeah,
Or
definitely.
was it an event?
Because the entry is where we found out about how many people died
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah,
started doing some
numbers
backwards
were
math.
mentioned, it's true.
What was it called is the question.
Could it have been tied to someone?
It was its entry on its own. I
Oh.
100% remember highlighting it and reading it. Was it a part of Colony?
Maybe it's like a ship or colony thing or whatever. Colony in satellite orbit.
There we go. Dispute over what to use the remaining energy towards or life support led to a shootout resulting in 7 deaths. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, that's interesting because like at that point, see, this is a perfect moment of like. So it doesn't say which 7, but whatever it was everyone besides Ida and
Shinono.
Ryoko.
Yeah.
Right.
And technically Hijiyama, because he was still alive for a bit, but then he
And
succumbed to
Morimura
his-
and
Yeah.
Sekigahara. Yeah. So there's that. We can just assume. But we do know that like the confirmed deaths there were Hijiyama, Okino, Juro, Ogata were confirmed shot at the scene.
Yes.
This is a perfect example of the discussion we had earlier where it's like, do we allocate the remaining energy towards the new future or towards keeping us alive for a little bit longer, right? And this is a perfect example of where I would be like, fuck us.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely power that ship and send it the fuck out and get the process going. This is a perfect example of like, oh, fucking blow my brains out. Like, we're done here. If the choice is life support energy that's necessary, this is a non-question.
But once
know?
life support has been rerouted towards Project Arc, do you then kill yourself to save yourself from
what?
from the suffering
What?
before death?
Well, now we're stuck in a situation of predetermined consequence. So we're back to that place, right? The option, no doubt in my mind, infinitely put it on the future.
For sure.
And once that's no longer a factor, right? And we're just back to the same consequence in the cards we've been dealt. Well, now we're back to we can't change anything here, you know? But in this moment, that's a perfect example of like, fuck our life support, you know?
Yeah.
Now, of course, the interesting thing there is when we can think about who decided they wanted to survive more than giving Project Arc life support, right? If Ogata is showing up and he's like, fuck this project, shut it down. I told you many times to shut it down.
Right.
And then Juro's on that side. Then Juro's not that fucking, great after all if he's just following orders in that kind of circumstance.
But at the same time, he rewrote the project to make Morimura have her memories updated. So he still believed in it, or
that's what's confusing about this moment is that Hijiyama says that damn Izumi that damn Ogata showed up with his cronies or whatever, and it made it, and like if Juro got shot there, then it seemed like he was with Ogata on that side.
For sure.
But Juro was working with Morimura because of the relationship they had.
Unless he was just like, I don't really know about this Project Art thing, but it means something to you, so I guess let me just do this thing since you're dead and, I like you.
So then he wasn't on Ogata's side, but he still got shot by Hijiyama anyway in that moment.
Or he could have been on Ogata's side, but just...
Because he killed Okino.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Like that's the thing, right? Like, what is the deal with this guy?
Can you go up a little bit? So there's a dispute, and he kills Okino.
Yeah.
Chiyama guns down Izumi, and the plan was altered so that Chihiro, Morimura's host, would undergo a memory override during the final process of Project Arc. Ida finds about this, and he finds out that Izumi made the change.
Okay, hold on a second. He kills Okino, and Hijiyama goes, fuck you, which makes sense. Okino 88... wanted it to end. Yeah, fuck that project. Ogata 88, rather. Okino 88 created UC, used the code from the game, but so what's I don't get it. Like, is Okino opposed to the project as well? Okino was on Ogata's side?
I kind of just understood it to be like there was a shootout and things get chaotic and...
Where okay, well, let's hold on a second. Where did Okino want the project to end then? Are we just forgetting?
I'm seeing that Ogata wanted to... No, Okino wanted to prioritize the life support and didn't want to put the energy towards the project.
What were you...
What's wrong, Takatoshi?
What's wrong is this course...
Oh.
Okay, Professor Shinon, everyone knows, even I...
Games shit.
You're putting the
I'm just reusing the Relax. And hey, come on. The work we've done all... As long as this colony's life support holds out. As long as I've got even a second more, I'd rather spend it with you.
Tsukasa. You're right. I'll see if I can...
Thanks.
So
I love you, Tuck.
where does he turn?
Here begins my final log. This isn't the same recording. Tsukasa's dead. It was all Majestic Ben Sukkot, he argued to cancel the plan. To divert the energy to life support.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
straight
okay,
up.
okay.
If that damn Ogata and his cronies hadn't come armed. No. Too late to point fingers now.
Okay, so Okino argues to cancel the project.
He wants to live.
Wants this life support going. Ogata, who is also opposed to the project, shows up and then a shootout starts? What am I missing?
Are we misremembering? Is it for sure that Ogata and Izumi were on the same side? Because it could be that they had a dispute and then...
Izumi-san, so I made him pay.
Jiro shot Tsukino.
There's Professor Hino and me. The hangar's blown out.
Yeah.
It won't even take 20 hours. I came
20
here
hours.
to protect people. And now I'll die here.
Okay. I'm trying to understand, like, what ended up making Jiro shoot Okino here. And
Could we have it all wrong and that Izumi wasn't with Ogata? That if he was for Project Arc because he supported Morimura, did he shoot Okino because Okino had wanted to divert life support away from the project?
after working on the project.
Yeah. Like, could our core assumption be wrong? The one that's wrong is that Ogata and Izumi were on the same side?
Okay. So Jiro and Jiro, who's pro project because of Morimura, ends up shooting Okino, not knowing it's her son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is fucked up, you idiot. When when Okino changes his mind and says, actually make it life support, fuck this, then he shoots.
Yeah, maybe this is a picture I have in my head. They all, because he kind of mentioned we were having a logistical debate over Project Arc, an energy dispute.
Yes.
So that makes me think boardroom. We're all just talking,
We're
and
talking
Okino's
about what's
like,
happening.
you know what? I think we should divert it because we should survive. And then they're talking, and Ogata like pulls out a gun. He's like, you know what? No, I'm going to take control of the situation. This is like blah blah blah, and then Izumi's like, oh shit, well, you know what, I came armed too. You know, I'm kind of picturing this kind of surprise thing, not like Ogata barging in with his cronies, but more so
Right.
I don't know.
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense, right? That's a perfect explanation of like how the situation came to this Mexican standoff moment. What doesn't make sense is why Izumi shoots in that direction. In the sense that like I like the argument to go the other way with it.
Major Izumi
Yes,
might have been just following orders, right?
perhaps I guess I'm thinking about like, I get that the side switch would be the like catalyst for like fuck you in the end, but it sounds like Ogata was the escalator here.
Yes, for sure.
And it seemed like up until this point Izumi 88 was a pretty responsible person who was like, you know, in love, but ultimately not that horrible of an individual, putting his life on the line to save young Yakashiji.
Well,
So I just don't get why he'd be like, fuck you, person.
but we don't know that.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm trying to piece together.
And what I would want to point out is that 7 people died.
Yeah.
So if we hold on to this detail, then we have to also presume that the same energy went into killing every single other person, right? I'm imagining a random shootout, and Hijiyama saw that it was Izumi that ended up killing Okino.
Yeah, it's this point. This created a massive point of confusion for me because, like, the motivations of these two characters don't strike me as like, even if they're at odds here, it seemed like Ogata was the problem. He came
It does,
armed,
yes.
you know, to a situation that probably should have been.
He probably still was the problem. He probably started it.
Yeah.
And then Izumi crossfire, shot back, and then hit Okino.
Yeah. Look at the whole timeline and see what the convo took place relevance to A's explosion. Explosion aside, I'm not. I understand that they're making a discussion about what to do now in a fuck situation. The explosion aside, I'm literally just trying to piece together like what could have happened to make, you know, the character I think of Juro shoot the character I think of Okino.
Why
you
don't
know?
you? Why don't you?
But we-
think
but
it's
we
a
don't see it.
crossfire thing, like a kind of.
It could be. It could be jumping in front of a bullet, you know, at which point Hijiyama just goes off and no longer cares about what's going on. But that's a less straightforward version of events in a way that would not be your Occam's razor.
So how would you explain the other 6 deaths? You know what I mean?
So
Like,
I
to
started blasting.
Well, that's what I mean. How come Okino can't be the I started blasting part of it?
I think once Okino got shot, Hijiyama just fucking stops giving a
That's
shit.
for sure. Yeah,
and
that's
then
what
the
he
whole
says,
thing goes
yeah.
tits up.
Yeah.
Right? I think the blasting happening after his lover goes down is like, yeah, they're not
course,
going
of
to
course.
listen to reason anymore
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
point. But it's the initial like, you know, the shot heard around the world or around the colony for that matter that starts everything up that like is the most important. And I would leave that up to a shitbag of a person to go that route as opposed to Izumi and Tsukasa, who in both cases in 2188 seem to be not the type. But we don't know. We don't have that data.
Yeah.
We don't have the data.
Yeah, we're arguing over stuff that we don't
Off
have
camera.
information.
Yeah. Okay, so we just have to accept that we don't have the information there. You know, something was going on. Juro is big fucking major man that was like life on the line to save the kids. You know, and Tsukasa's like, I want to spend time with my lover. You know, and it could have gotten heated to who knows what degree. But the idea that he would shoot first is hard to reconcile with everything else we've learned about him. I'll leave it at that.
Who shot first?
Yeah. McClunky. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess that's where it sits then. Whoa, wait, hold on. What? Oh, we got one mystery point to spend sitting there too. That's hilarious.
Weird.
Yeah. So, what? Oh yeah, and then there was Megumi's dad, who we never found out about, but that didn't matter either. What happened with Ida at the end there? What exactly?
Yeah, conversation with Miyuki.
Inaba gives him a fucking break.
Yeah, that was weird.
Ida restores connection to Sector 4 and speaks with Miyuki Inaba via transmission. As her ship nears the end of the communication range, she requests she sing once more. So this is after they wake up. And so he had a contingency plan, which meant he had another backup ready to go.
Yeah.
Right? That his plan failed with the initial one. So he shows up now, and yeah, let me just understand what she was giving him here, because interestingly, she's being all like flirtatious in the.
I'm almost seeing it as like, I'm going to pity you because your plan didn't work.
That's what I'm trying. Like, she's being weirdly like
Yeah.
hee to him,
For sure.
which I think she did. She does like him. She did like
She did,
him.
Well,
Yeah.
they had that relationship where he was fate and following her online while she
Yeah,
was singing.
and-
So I guess she's probably like, yeah,
She
you're a
does-
shit, but I know that deep
But like
inside
after
you try
what?
to
Yeah,
be good,
she. But
you
like
know?
the way when he was at peak villain, she was like really sad. You know.
Yeah, she said, I love you, but not like this. You know, so
Yeah.
she did love him, but she just didn't agree with his methods.
So, like, in the end, now that everyone's out, I guess I forgive you? I guess?
Yeah, it's like, I guess it doesn't matter because your plan didn't work anyways.
All right. Little easy on the forgiveness, but
That's the only conclusion I can
I
come
agree.
to.
not the first time.
Ugh,
A little easy on the forgiveness.
complex human interactions.
You know. Yeah, it's that 88 dick. It's that 2188 dick. Can't be stopped.
You're the technology in the future, bro.
Okay, so Sector 4 is back online. Right, the simulation is back
Right, 'cause
online.
from his perspective, everyone's gone. Like, he's restarted the world. The
Well,
loop.
426 is there too. Right?
Yeah,
Like
technically,
everyone that used to be a person that is now just data is in this world, and they're probably having the truth explained to them.
Right, but I imagine this is the very beginning for him, right? Because he says Sector 4 has come back online.
Yeah.
And she's like, I knew you could do it. So it sounds like in his reality, they have just looped. It's fresh. He hasn't come across anyone else yet. He's just talking to Miyuki. He's like, okay, cool, we did it. Now things are restarting again.
Oh, do you think...
Like he didn't do anything wrong?
You think he's being given... Wait, are you implying that he's being given a reality where he won?
Well, maybe I'm getting confused because I was just thinking the fact that the kids left the simulation, isn't that kind of like a loop restarting? But maybe not. Maybe just the world continues
because they go back in later.
Yeah. I guess they go back in.
No.
Okay, so I was wrong, sorry.
So he just...
Because just that line, Sector 4 has come back online, it makes it almost sound like, okay, reboot complete. Sector 4 has come back online.
They rolled back to before the attacks happened. And...
That is true, yeah.
They're now walking around in a world pre-kaiju attacks. So everything is wherever it would have been at the start of the loop.
Yeah.
And then they get to go back in whenever they want and say hi to their friends, and everything is at peace. So the world and the people still exist. And anybody who doesn't know what the fuck happened doesn't know what they did in this loop.
Yeah.
Right? Because they died and didn't get to back themselves up. So wherever he's at is pre-loop 3 shenanigans, Ida. In which case, Inaba can still... No. Wait. No, hold on a second. We're moving forward in time a bit, because for him to look like that, time has to pass. So he has to still be...
He had uploaded himself because then he was on an android at that ending part there.
This Ida has gone forward and had a bunch of experiences and everything. He definitely, he definitely is knowing, because otherwise we'd be looking at like Shu starting over and that, you know what I mean? So no, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's read it. I'm glad I gave you full control. I knew you could do it. I assumed you'd hate me after everything, that you'd think me a monster. I was alone after I shifted to the command ship. In my darkest hour, I relied on your ID. No matter what form he takes, you're the man I've always counted on. I love you, and I hope I can come join you. Okay. Okay, so just, in the end, she's just like, no, but I still love you. That's about it, then. Not much else to it. The command ship is about to cross the horizon. I guess what I'm... this is taking place exactly here. It's in between the discussion about the new world, and it's after they wake up. So this is when they turn... This is when they return to it, because here they've jumped back into the simulation and they're using their old bodies to talk to all the people that are now just AI stuck inside the simulation. So this is essentially like turning it back on. I guess they backed up before the attacks, but not to the beginning of the loop.
Right.
This seems to be like they just rewound it a little bit and ended up having Baby Mura and him still around, but they didn't go back all the way. They went back a little bit.
Because I think they did say something like that during these reunion scenes, saying like, oh, is it wise to do it just before the invasion, like to rewind just before the invasion?
Juro. He shows up in this scene.
That's how I came out of the pod with you. Tiff, we'd never have come so far after all you did to... Hey, remember, I'm... Man, look at this.
And they're keeping the illusion up for the fake people.
They're definitely gonna... We basically forced a reset to right before the disaster.
There you go. Yeah.
You worry too much, Juro. Inconsistencies aren't a big deal. Universal control can handle that.
Yeah, okay.
My data's all in this place now, and so you're gonna be on your own from now on.
Yep, that's it. So they rolled back just a little bit. Not a full rollback. There we go. Okay.
Why not? Why 98?
Well, we have 1 point. Is there stuff in destruction? Didn't they say there were more missions?
Come on!
They said that there were more missions at some point. No?
My OCD can't.
No? What was added?
Is that D rank?
That is a D rank.
That's a D rank, bro.
Well, there's no reward for it though. Oh.
Oh! Fourth area! And it goes...
That's
Can you
true.
scroll
They
through
said
this? Or are you
something
locked?
I can't scroll, but it goes off screen.
Yo.
And then, okay.
Oh my god. So this is just video game it,
Yeah.
right? This is the post game. Just keep playing. 99999 bonus missions. Oh my god.
You want to keep fighting forever?
It's fight forever. Fight forever. Bloody Palace. Yeah, okay. Well, here's something I'm interested in. Let's say we just... oh, and I never... everyone's fresh.
That's nice.
And if I were to go back up here... they're still fresh. Okay. Because I was going to say, oh, we never did the recovery. You never even saw what that looked like if you when you pressed it.
Maybe this animation.
So, if we were to just deploy into this, is there just no conversation?
Battle start.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, enemies moving.
Right, okay. I wanted to see what the Type 98 looked like on the map, but either way. Alright, that makes a lot of sense. I think the answers are pretty much there, aren't they? Is there anything else you guys can think of?
As in, like, other things we need to discover?
Questions that linger?
Good.
If they do linger, they might not come to mind right away.
Yeah.
But I think we have the gist of it. And that'll be good enough for now, no?
Yeah.
I think that sounds good, yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay.
Never ending mind blown.
Well,
Damn.
first order of fucking business as soon as I'm done here is getting this goddamn OST in its completion. Because this fucking music, I've been so scared to look it up, but I've been dying to look it up to listen to it.
Agreed.
The literal overflow of brats. That is the future. Thanks, George Kamitami. Thank you, Vanillaware. Fucking just may you like disappear for another 10 years and come back up with something on this caliber. That, as far as I'm concerned, is a game changer to video games.
I mean, it made a normie like me actually sit through your LP.
There you go.
I never did that before.
Absolutely game changer. Hashtag game changer all day, every day. Game of the year, one of the best video games I've ever fucking played. Easy, free.
Yeah, they did something, they did it first, and they did it right.
Best.
They did it so good. Just amazing.
And you got
art, the music,
all
the
the
direction.
spinning plates that the ambition to put this type of nonsense together and actually have it make sense.
And to have all these protagonists, and you give the player full control. Who do you want to explore? And they were able to do it in such like
How many late night
measured
conversations in fucking yakisoba shops did George have with his friends, making sure that everything was airtight and perfect, you know? Dear God, man. I couldn't imagine how many plot holes would have existed. And someone said apparently like 50% of the story got cut.
What?
I'm not even fucking ready to put that shit together.
Come on.
I don't know.
How?
I don't even. All right.
Well, I guess they shaved it down to get the most solid, sturdy, impervious, unchallengeable ball of joy.
I don't know.
Just given to people.
So I've been
Have
told.
fun.
I've been told as well that just before we dip here, that it would be a really good idea to check out the Q&A that that the creator had.
Sure.
Also, Skelly V says, Ogata Kengo's plan. The 11th question asks why Ogata Nenji's father, Kengo, was trying to have his consciousness implanted into a clone of his son instead of a clone of himself, given how, since he was able to have an AI of himself created, it should have been possible to have this genetic information saved as well. Kamitani says that this is because Kengo did not, in fact, become an AI of his own accord. Morimura made the AI after his passing. The AI then later plotted taking over Nenji's body in the ARC project. Kengo's body and the genetic data were no longer available at this point.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Why did Morimura listen to him at all?
Well, do you think she used his credentials in order to manipulate the data?
But did that necessitate going that far? He was her boss. He sucked. And he was a shitty, evil dude.
And she listened?
But, like, after he died, she brought him back of her own accord.
I guess she had some sort of
money for the
fondness.
project.
So using his information, she was able to siphon funds?
To use his bank account.
Okay.
Which required his AI existence to continue. Like, I guess... Yeah, I guess... let me just... Get that off there. I guess then, like, there was no other way to get access to his money after he died besides creating a digital ghost of him, which ended up becoming a huge, shitty problem that ended up being not that bad of a problem after all, but still kind of sucks. Interesting.
I'm brain overloaded right now.
Yep, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I noticed about half an hour ago, maybe. Yeah, I think it's in the digestion process. I remember I was like, okay, so Reggie's putting it together. Reggie's like, let's fire through to the end. You know, we'll just can't be stopping to think about stuff on the way. Let's just get to the end. I'm like, all right, I'm expecting to hear a fucking diatribe. I expect to hear you at the podium go, all right, I've been thinking, and now that we're here, my fellow
Americans,
Canadians, I've got it. But it's okay. So there's an article here that says, yeah, spoiler Q&A with George Kamitani. Are you going to release the Reggie notes at least?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's nothing great. It's just like what's happening. Taking notes so that I can go like, oh wait, we've seen this before, and then recall stuff and
release the Reggie cut.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Right.
I'm impressed you took all those notes on your phone. I was expecting like a notebook. Or
oh
like a
boy, it could fill a notebook. It's like a few pages.
Okay, so the stuff Skelly was sending was from this interview specifically. So the first question was regarding the relationship between Goto and Ryoko. Kamitami says their relationship post-ending is left to the player's imagination and thus has infinite possibilities. As for their relationship before the beginning of the story, he reveals the part of the plot that did not make it into the game. Shinonome was the one that initiated the relationship with Goto as a way to get her parents to stop trying to separate her from Sekigahara, who she saw as a little brother, and also the one to break off the relationship with Goto when she achieved her goal. Goto was not interested in romance, but in Ryoko's actions, because he could not understand them and thus deemed them interesting. Okay. Yeah, I just don't see them being that compatible at all. I'm surprised that they had a ex relationship, but you know,
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a little throwaway line during one of the battles.
Again, like very few like high school anime settings have people that are exes, even though real high school has tons of that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also that the A and Ryoko childhood thing is way undermentioned too. It's like they have some slight bond, but And in the end, too, I remember I was talking about like all the fake childhood memories, and like
it's fake.
they're fake, real fake.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's a nice sandwich. You got
it's
there.
yeah. They're real inside of a fake taco.
Mm.
You know, because like yes, you and I did grow up together, but we were in pods
And juice.
that like happened to put your fucking whatever your Second Life avatar next to my World of Warcraft tune, and then we hung out in the virtual world. So now we actually did have a childhood together. Yeah. So this says the relationship between the characters' bodies and the resets in the simulation and the passage of time. The next question was regarding the relationship between those things. Kamitani says the simulation is entirely in real time. Each time the simulation is reset, the clones are broken down by nanomachines and remade. Oh, that's gross. Yep. They just literally just 3D print a baby.
Yeah. So the nanomachines, I guess, have been there the whole time.
The nanomachines are more than just attached to your brain for offline storage. They are your parents.
Disassemble and assemble you.
Oh my god.
The nanomachines are your fucking parents.
Yeah.
Like they built you, and they happen to store information that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. We're at the time. The third question asked what Hijiyama's reaction would have been to eating Hamburg steak. Kamitami wrote actual lines for this. They were performed live on stage by Ishii. It was revealed that the conclusion to Miura and Hijiyama's argument over yakisoba and Hamburg steak would have been them eating hamburgers, with Hijiyama proclaiming that America is indeed a fearsome country.
That's good.
Get the burgers.
Not bad. Not bad. That's good. The fourth question asked which characters were easy or hard to conceive. Kamitami wrote, Kamitami found Kurabe's story the hardest to write, as he started on it first back when the game's system itself was not fleshed out. Shinonome was also hard because he also handled the script to depict changes to her state according to how much medicine she takes, and the managing keywords, managing Takamiya's keywords and Ogata's trains were tough as well. Hamaguchi's story went through the smoothest. Kamitami was worried Hijiyama skipped too much. He also says that Yakushiji's story left him in a bleak mood. Yeah. And that he had the most fun with the talking cat Fluffy and Kurabe's friend Shiba. Okay. Yeah, dude, like, honestly, man, this dude, like, not just, like, a fucking amazing artist that's, like, done all this beautiful art and made these incredible games before, but writing a story of this caliber. Like, what a talented motherfucker, man. Holy shit. You know, if the previous games didn't already convince you. Odin Sphere, Muramasa, and Dragon's Crown are just beautiful games that came before this one, you know. The fifth question asked for Ida betraying Shinonome. The last surviving human. Yeah. So it doesn't quite, he doesn't imply what happened to Ida then.
No.
But he just says his last words to her must have been horrible ones that then sent her down that path. And if she was the last surviving human, then that implies that Ida died.
Yeah,
right?
I would.
I saw some people saying that he might have offed himself, and she had asked him to do it with her, but he said no.
If that's what happened, that's so much more fucked up. If he did it anyway, but just said, nah, fuck you. Oh my god. Yeah, that creates that kind of person. that puts that evil in you,
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby. That's how you put that evil into a person. If you actually go off and say, like, I'm not how, like, get the fuck away from me, and then in the end you do it anyway, but just not with you, you know? And the idea of him being the worst combination of the playboy and the just calculating, you know, yeah, that's a Sigma male right there.
I can't.
The end of the fucking world comes down to a goddamn Sigma. No, that is like sociopathic narcissism beyond comprehension. Like, yeah, for sure. That's insane, you know, if it played out that way. The other way it could have played out is like she survives last. So the other way it plays out is like she kills him and goes, "No, I said suicide pact though."
Right.
And then does that anyway, you know? Yeah. Gotta show off. Sixth question asks for details on the nanomachines that destroyed mankind on Earth. Yes. And whether there's any danger to the nanomachines used in the clones. Kamitami says the Earth was destroyed by aggressive nanomachines emulating the processes of viruses and evolving faster than countermeasures could be taken to spread like a plague. As for nanomachines used in the clones, Kamitami says these were necessary for the ARC project's final phase, and like the internet or energy, they're no more than a tool, meaning that it's up to how they're used. He also points out that he based the game on the interlocutor nanomachines on the interocitor device in the 1955 movie This Island Earth, and Universal Control gets its name from Takemiya Keiko manga Toward the Terra. Okay. So, the nanomachines that they're born from are equally as destructive. And yeah, like I said earlier, like, they're still being put out into a world with the technology that destroyed the last one. Yeah. So they're not exactly safe.
Nope.
They just need...
They thought, but
they just need the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Reggie and I had a conversation last time about this, and I thought it was interesting because it was like, yeah, they could still head down a pathway that leads to the nanomachine destruction apocalypse again, right? If it continues to exist, and people are going to want to use technology to make their lives easier. When the choice comes down to giving humanity the knowledge of what failed in the past and why it went wrong, and giving the warning, or not telling them at all and hoping that they never go that down that road, which do you think makes the most sense for prolonging life the longest?
I think you got to tell them.
You have to, right?
You have to tell them so that like you can work around the problem, or
because people will eventually develop it themselves anyway and create the same problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if people know about it, all it takes is one fucking guy to just do it.
Just do it anyways.
Do it and say, I don't care.
Might as well take all that data that you have of like, these are the kinds of people that are likely to use this power in this way, and this is the conditions that allowed this to happen. So now let's try to avoid these conditions. Let's try to like,
the plot of every fucking virtual reality story, or like every survival game story, is about, oh shit, we can't tell everybody the truth. Let's keep them left in ignorance, and ignorance is bliss. And ignorance is bliss is always the villain's move. And it always ends up being a world where the protagonists go, fuck you, I will go to my death.
Yeah.
Like trying to fight you to find out why. Right? The burning why will never be defeated. So you just need to open up the basement and tell everybody what's going on from the jump, you know? Yeah. Except for certain stories, which neither of you have seen, so I won't spoil.
Okay.
But
thank you.
The seventh question asks whether the simulation gets its personality data from the 6 million simulated humans, and Kamitami says that they come from the data created by Tamao, the original. So yeah, simulated people.
So she took care of it.
Yeah, simulated people and genetic diverse
15 clones, but
data.
diverse
You
data.
combine the two, you create new people that are different. They're manufactured, but who the fuck wasn't?
Yeah.
We're all printing out fucking babies at this point with nanomachines. So the kids they're going to have are the first real born humans, actually.
Yeah.
If anything, which is interesting. The 8th question asks what happened to the AI made from the previous Hijiyama. True, they said that. And Edith says this was installed into one of the Sentinels. Kamitami says it was supposed to be a scene with the death of AI Hijiyama, but it had to be cut, and that it was installed on Sentinel 19, which was used by Miura in the final battle. Hijiyama AI was going to have been unstable, with parts of its personality and memory missing, and it would have, at the end, asked Okino to delete him and protect Miura. This last wish would have been what led to Miura using Sentinel 19 in his loop.
Interesting.
In this loop. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Hijiyama is the personality type that I feel like would be able to have the least compatibility with, like, being a Sentinel, much less the real world. Like, there's a point in his story where I remember I felt so sad for him. Right, I felt so bad because he had a moment where usually it's like, oh, hey, look, it's the big dumb oaf, and he just gets pulled along for the ride, right? And he has these observations where he kind of gets it, but there's a moment where he goes, I don't understand what's going on. Can someone please? Like,
I'm so lost.
He had like, I think he takes a knee, right, and he just has a moment of like, I don't like, please help me understand, you know, or something like that, where I'm just like, oh fuck, I feel so bad because he's just like, I'm from the 40s, man. I don't get it. What is happening, you know? And that's like why I'm saying it's like that type of person getting spit out into the real world, given 24 months, go.
It's rough.
Save the world. That sucks.
Yeah.
I get that you have to do it. I get that it's the only choice. I get it's the way the plan is rolling out. But that sucks, man. That's a shit fucking deal. And it's a way worse deal for him coming out of that era than it would be for Goto, who's like, oh, what? New settings? What is this? Oh, that was, yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Figures it out on the fly.
Like, all right, so we're restarting humanity? Okay, what's the tech we got? What are we working with?
Hijiyama has like no template to base himself off of.
Yeah, nothing.
Goto pops out with like fucking plans A through D ready to go. Like, all right, boys, which one are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, he was so much more ready, personality side aside, like also coming from a world, you know. Yeah, he pops out going, so wait, Japan lost? Like, yeah, the nation from the planet Earth called Japan, they technically did not win. The 9th question is about Yakushiji's cooking skills and whether or not she was good to begin with.
Okay, yeah.
Or if she got better after meeting Izumi in 2025. Kamitami says that Yakushiji was raised by a single mother who prioritized her career, leaving Yakushiji to handle household chores on her own, which included cooking.
Dependable, trustworthy.
Doesn't respect your decisions. Class act right there.
We're talking about that babies.
I love you.
Oh my god, you two can have each other.
Legit.
We can all be friends.
You
all right?
fucking rule.
You two date each other and we'll be friends. That's how it is. Oh god. They're perfect for each other.
Get fucking stalked.
Mutual respect. Fuck that shit.
Putting up boundaries? What boundaries? You know? Yeah. But aren't you Mr. Backup? You too close, man? Yeah? Well, what if they don't back up, Reggie? But you're gonna get fed dinner later. But every other boundary you have doesn't fucking exist. What a great, healthy relationship.
Just stay busy before dinner.
No, eat a big meal and go pass out. And while you're sleeping, she'll stare at you in your bed. And you'll occasionally wake up and she'll just be staring at you. And then you just, go back to sleep. You're like, I ate good tonight.
I wake up, you're looking at me. Are you okay?
Yep.
Yes, she's okay.
Yep. Just
You're just watching over me? Yeah. All right. Sleep like a baby.
Cool.
Okay, she's
Cool.
watching over me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Reggie wants a vending machine. For a fucking
Look at his face.
Reggie wants Reggie wants a vending machine on wheels for a relationship.
I mean, it doesn't sound that bad.
The 10th question
You can fill
asks
it up with whatever you want to.
The 10th question asks the reasons behind Okino's cynical personality. Kamitami says that Okino from 2188 is a designer baby born as a part of the government population adjustment policy.
Oh, interesting.
Raised by foster parents sent to a facility where he was subjected to character education meant to make him work for the good of the world, and rebound from this. The rebound from this is what led to his current personality. Kamitami says that he was also inspired by the manga Takemiya Keiko. Okay, so Okino, was basically part of what the world system was like just before the fall then, right? And if Okino, then the fall really must have been super quick and not that long ago. Because if you think about Yuki arriving on the last ship, and Okino having the time to have this type of upbringing to become the adult, there was enough time for Morimura to have a kid, and then the kid to grow up and become this person in this job, and for Yuki to get off that ship and for them to end up on the colony as the world was burning behind her, right? So it sounds like the end of the world was pretty fucking fast, all things considered. Okay, Kengo, we already did that. 12th question, why UC doesn't erase droids and clones when they move to other sector? Kamitami says that this is because UC is not made to have control over special items created by the staff. AI that have moved from Sector 0 or to Sector 0 are perceived as being created by staff, and the droids are created with faked staff IDs, allowing them to operate outside of UC's boundaries.
Admin.
Okay. Interesting.
If you're a user, you have special privileges. Your folders can't be deleted. Right? You can, yeah.
Right on.
13th question asks why yakisoba pan was chosen to be the favorite food. Kamitami says initially he created two characters in mind. Hijiyama was created with two characters. Hijitaka Toshizo from the manga Totemo Hijitaka-kun, and Kabamaru from the manga Igano Kabamaru. Yeah, all right. We don't have these references, unfortunately. By Igano Kabamaru by Azuki Yu. Hijiyama's favorite food was originally going to be yakisoba like Kabamaru, but the game system made it so that he had to have food that could be eaten with one hand.
Oh.
Interesting.
Resulting in it being changed to yakisoba pan. Kamitami also says lately people have taken to giving him yakisoba pan and that he wishes he had made something fancier that he cannot afford on his own. Nice. So this thing is referencing classic manga all over the place, in addition to American sci-fi.
Yeah, that's true.
It's going hard on the Western sci-fi, but it's going hard on the manga.
Of references,
the characters
going above us,
right? I think a lot of the backstory and the elements of the plot are Western sci-fi movies, and perhaps the personalities and the characters are based on manga references. Yeah. Interesting. Bringing it together. The 14th and final question laments Shinonomi's fate and asks if she still loves Ida after the ending. Oh, we just read about that. Wait, no. Sorry. The 14th and final question laments Shinonomi's fate and asks if she still loves Ida after the ending. Kamitani says that after being scolded by Inaba, Ida finally repents, and that the restoration of the sectors is part of his penance.
Oh.
Amaguchi also has the memories of what happened with Shinonome and Ida, and pities her. But Shinonome who is strong and tries to resolve everything on her own, does not actually need any of this. Kamitani says that with the greater changes to their lives and the passage of time, he doesn't think that Shinonome, who had such a great driving force, would dwell over the past too long. So she gets over it.
Okay.
And that last scene was Inaba
understanding that he's repenting. Oh,
by making him restore the sectors.
Right. Okay.
Giving him the responsibility, which you're a digital brain, you're a digital being based on a real human. So you're like, yeah, you're a special individual that can handle these types of tasks. Like 426, Morimura, Baby Mura, and Ida are all like people that can take on greater responsibility than the UC clones, than the fake people, the NPCs.
For sure. Yeah.
So like they should be given responsibilities, and that makes sense, right? Because they're also going to be living their lives out in that system. And when they have the ability to create people based on those AI, do you give them their freedom? Do you allow them to enter the real world?
Wait, you mean to pull them out and then put them onto that Earth? Why not?
You would be afraid of like external elements perturbing the peace or something, disturbing the peace?
I think Morimura would be fine. The other three, I don't know.
I mean, like those specific people.
They're the only ones.
Yeah.
Right? They're the only ones that were on Sector 0. I feel as if you could trust Morimura. She'd be okay. But she also probably wouldn't want it. I could see her being like, And she, what, her and 426 get their digital like
rocks off together.
They get their Black Mirror ending. Right? Let's fucking escape and become code together. Start a relationship, whatever that means in the digital world. So he gets his penance as well. He gets his, although again, she didn't exactly have the relationship with him technically, but the memories are there.
But they're gonna try.
Who else are you gonna hang out with? You're literally four of a kind. And Baby Mura, like, I don't know, man. We need your info. We could come back and talk to you. Maybe you're better off staying in here.
Yeah, almost like, let's see how you do in the virtual world for a bit. And then, like, kind of like a
and then
rehabilitation.
What?
No, and then just to see,
if it goes wrong, what do you do?
Well, then you stay there. You don't get to be part of the real world.
Okay, maybe here's what you do. If you don't do it unless one of them asks, "Hey, can I join you?" And if they ask, you go, "All right, sure," and then you create another fake world.
And you lie to them?
And you put them in it.
Yeah.
And you see if they can fucking deal and not be shitty. And if they pass in that world, then you pull them out.
Right.
Do you tell them what happened?
No.
Oh.
Go to Sector 0, grab them, back them up.
Yeah.
Say, okay, let's pull you out.
You want to be Ida.
Check it out. Watch this. Watch this. All right. You want to come out? Right? You want to come out? No problem. All right. Go to UC. We'll start the process. Sector 0, back them up. Okay. Drop them in the fake world. Makes like, here you go. This is the real world. This is life. Let's see how you behave. In the simulation, can you be trusted? All right. Then we pull you out. And we go to Sector 0, and we pull you out, and we put you in the real world.
How do you feel about one-sided trust?
What do you mean?
You have somebody, they trust you, but you don't trust them. Which is basically what you're doing with this. You're like, okay, I don't trust you, but I'm going to test you first.
But why don't I trust you?
Because shit could happen, right?
Keep it going. Why don't I trust you?
To protect yourself?
What were the reasons that I have for not having trust in you?
because that person has a propensity. Or they have done things in the past.
For what? Thank you.
That might be like, I don't know if I can trust you.
Play it through.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Why do I not know if I can trust you? Because you've done things. What have you done? Really bad things. That can be a huge problem in a highly sensitive environment where we don't have the time to fuck around. I don't know if I can trust you.
Yeah.
I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but you've proven to not be trustworthy. But I'm still giving you a chance here. Prove that you can be trusted, and then we'll pull you out because we have the equipment to do that.
Yeah.
If you didn't prove to be a shit, if you didn't prove to be a shit in the past, then we wouldn't have to go through this process.
So does that mean that you will always have it in the back of your mind, even if they prove themselves to be decent after
No,
the
I believe in
test?
atonement.
Okay.
I believe it's possible.
Atonement and rehabilitation
Absolutely.
is a thing. Okay.
We just need to verify that it's true, that it's real.
Okay.
We need to verify that it's real.
All right. That's okay.
And if we have the technology to verify
That's
that
harsh.
you are...
You know what's harsh? Killing humanity.
Oh, yeah. That's one way to
That's
see
pretty
it.
fucking harsh.
That's one way to see it. I mean...
You've done it before. Are you willing to do it again? I don't know. Do we have the fucking bandwidth to reset the next time you do? Nano machines, dude. It's that easy.
Mm-hmm. All right, then.
I get it. I know how this sounds, but I'm telling you.
It sounds terrible.
You have some villains that, in the end, can be good people because they started out on the right path. And because that's inside there, you need to have a parole board when they come up and go, hey, I'm better.
Right.
And you're like, are you?
This is probation.
Right?
See, we're going to give you freedom.
We're a parole board.
Yeah.
Can we actually trust you? And it's not just to re-enter life in 2021. It's to re-enter the fucking, like, super delicate beginnings of new humanity.
Yeah.
Anything going wrong on any level because of one asshole is the whole thing done. It's so delicate to bring someone else out like that with pre-existing motivations, ambitions, and hatreds and crossing of the lines, trust, all that shit. I need to know, man. And only if you ask, you know? Otherwise,
I'm not telling you shit.
Chill on Sector 0. We'll come say hi. We'll come say hi. Is that so unreasonable? I don't think so.
No, and you know what? I feel like this is not a real answer, but because it's such a small colony of people, I would say you just bring it to the group, see how the group feels. You know, like we're 15 people,
Yeah.
we can all, you know, it's not like trying to make a societal decision, but I understand that in this discussion, even if I were to bring this up, you as one of the 15, this would be your suggestion.
Yeah.
You know, just to be safe. I don't think it's an unreasonable suggestion.
Yeah. And if you weren't someone that almost ruined everything, then we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You are earned trust by default until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to understand the motivations behind these actions here. Like, you were totally like all of us, and you had a fair shot, but most of you did something that I don't fucking know, man. You know, at least 3 of the 4 of you are like questionable as to whether or not you would exterminate everybody due to reasons that you just are I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah.
I don't care, right? Fuck the system we have. I'm just gonna do it my way. I think I'm doing the right thing. I'm willing to go to extremes to get my results.
For my personal...
3 out of those 4 people are willing to do that.
It's a lot of people.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. All right?
All right.
I don't think it's unreasonable. Have you considered my servant Job? Yeah, okay, exactly. You're right. Yeah, exactly. But if Job was a shit, earning fucking... Anyways. This can go on.
Leave Job alone.
Yeah. And with that, we bid you adieu. See you tomorrow.
Hi.
Hey, thank you for chilling
Thanks
with
for
us.
joining us.
Thanks
It
for
was
having
great.
me.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, you had some insights that I really I'm thankful for, and I think we're gonna have to talk about more later too. When
I'm sure things will
yeah,
come
like
as the day
at
goes on.
4 a.m. in the morning when like I suddenly just go, wait, what about? And I shake you. Just don't
I'll
get
forgive
mad.
you. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
cool, that works.